I love my crew. Jesus Christ have made us brothers. He increase our numbers. Blood brothers, iron brothers, iron sharpens iron. Feeling low, just play this song and know that you a family. First solely royalty, what you mean to me? Filled with hope, trying to put some hope up on this beat. I won't keep it quiet, no. I won't be discreet, no. King Jesus, King proclaim that on every street. Hebrew trumpet, let them know my King is coming. Some believe it, some can't, and some just won't. When that trumpet blow, on that day we all gon' see. Nobody know when he coming like a thief. On my job, trying to reach as many I can reach. No PhD in these streets trying to teach, but I'm speaking for the master, so it's all on me. Yeah, Elohim, all a dream, tell me, set me free. Classical for 17, reality out of dreams. Out this world, way past Pluto, we come back to Zeke. In this game, we proclaim what's regal. Now Rondo booted off his savage mode. Secret truth, I'ma hit him with 1,000 clones. Master Ross saying God, about to let it go. Do it for my village Christians, we in every section. Hit it in the clouds, we just the crew. We just the crew. We just the crew. Rep the king is what we do. Feel like Naruto. My chakra booming. Off the sage mode. Keep it jumping like a toad. Tell a demon we gon' hurt him when we see him. Cool night life. Heaven on. Secret juice already. The war's begun. Sight the sun where you find me. Soldiers glowing like a fire. You can feel it around me. I discern you might see 1,000 angels with me. It's our turn. Read the scripture said we got the victory. We already won. It's our turn. Read the scripture said we got the victory. We already won, family. What you think, Pluto? We got the victory. Classical for 17, reality out of dreams. Out this world, way past Pluto, we come back to Zeke. In this game, we proclaim what's regal. Naruto booted off his savage mode. Secret truth, I'ma hit him with 1,000 clones. Master Ross saying God, about to let it go. Do it for my village Christians, we in every section. Hit it in the clouds, we just the crew. Classical for 17, reality
turn it up.
He kicks it high and short. Going to be fielded by Lorenzo Neal at the 25. Pitches it back to Wycheck. He throws it across the field to Dyson.
He's got listen to the crowd. Here's the snap. Here's the kick. It is long enough. It is good. Loose as they get it to Rogers. They give it back now to the 30. They're down to the 20. Oh, the man is out on the field. He's going to go into the end zone. He's going to the end zone. One into right down the line. It may go. Go crazy, folks. Go crazy. It's a home run, and the Cardinals have won the game.
And now, coming to you live from the entertainment capital of the world, Mission Viejo, California, it's Chicken Wings and Pizza on the FYI Ministry Studios Radio Network. Here's Big Mike in Hebrew.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another Saturday night in Mission Viejo. This is your host, Big Mike, joined as always by my main man, Hebrew, and obviously our producer, Project Pluto. And we would like to welcome a new member to the CWMP family, a very talented mother, wife, and now social media manager. That would be my beautiful wife, Whitney Williams. Whitney, welcome to the show, sweetheart.
Bo.
She does not have a microphone, unfortunately.
You also forgot about this is the person who is the sponsor of our show, Whipped Up by Whitney.
Yes, and the amazing cakes that Whitney
I don't know how
today.
you forgot that one. Isn't there angel food cake at the house you've been taking up on?
You know what? No, she made it for my grandpa, actually. So,
oh, never mind. It's not at the house then.
And obviously,
I'm sure you'll drive out there just to get a taste.
we want to welcome in everybody on all of our affiliates tonight. Obviously, we live stream on Facebook and YouTube, Not by Bread Alone Radio, Power 102.1 FM, and that's out of Boston and Atlanta. We also are on in Miami. Shout out the Dolphins. And definitely on Roku. And, wow, was that a sound effect or you?
That was just my reaction anytime I hear
and we're
such
also
a horrible franchise like the
and we're
Dolphins.
also on the TuneIn app. So thank you to everybody for joining us as always on a Saturday night. Obviously, FYIministry.com. You can also check us out there. We are at the FYI Studios. Thank you to Gerline for allowing us to be here. Obviously, we always appreciate her and what she provides as far as the studio is concerned. So thank you to anybody who's associated with her as well. And Hebrew, obviously, buddy, we get this show kicked off the right way every single time. What verse do you have for us tonight?
Well, CWP Nation, how you doing? It's good to be here on Saturday. Good to be with y'all again, family, like Big Mike was saying. Got an interesting verse for you today coming out of Ecclesiastes, verse 5, and chapter 5, verse 19.
Nothing. No, it's good.
Oh, sorry.
Everything's all right.
It says, every man also to whom God has given riches and wealth and has given him power to eat of it and to take his portion and to rejoice in his labor. This is the gift of God. Why did I choose this scripture this week? It's very interesting right here this time in CWP Nation, especially with our personal lives and how we work. You know, there's certain changes going on for all of us around here. And I know for what I can say, and even talking to Pluto, what Big Mike is doing, it's actually making work a little better, a little easier, a little bit more lucrative for our families, which is always good, and, you know, for ourselves. And I thought this was an interesting scripture because I always read out of an app called Daily Inspirations. And the fact that when you're working, when you're doing the Lord's work and your personal work, it can all come together so smoothly that you can actually not just go to work to provide, but you can actually enjoy the work you're doing and enjoy the fruits of your labor, have the time to spend with your kids, which I know I was lacking trying to hold down 2 jobs. So I transitioned to one, which has actually been making much better. So this is very true scripture. Ecclesiastes is definitely a book of wisdom. So I take that wisdom heeded, you know, and keep that in mind when you're out there on your daily grind out there, family.
Without question, and a very good verse to start us off, sir. And obviously, the world of sports has been kind of slow lately. You know, obviously, we had the All-Star game this week, and then there's always those 2-3 days afterwards where you don't have any sports except for what's going on. But here at CWMP, we always find the most interesting and intriguing information. And obviously, we get the show kicked off with our new segment that is Hot Out the Kitchen, and that is actually sponsored by by CWP Nation. It has no and, so it is CWPNation.com. And that sponsors our first segment every week. And the one thing that I wanted to start off with, in Hebrew, I mean, obviously the NBA's in flux in general, and the Eastern Conference is obviously the JV league at this point. Well, big news today, and I'm interested to get your take on it because this is going to maybe change the landscape of the Western Conference. With Rajon Rondo signing a one-year deal to be down in New Orleans, I'm just curious, how do you feel about this? Because obviously with Rondo going to New Orleans, they already signed Drew Holiday for a ridiculous, absurd amount of money. So what sense does it make to bring him on?
Well, in this new NBA, they're moving to this positionless basketball, which I'm actually a fan of because you switch everything on defense, this and that. So it's actually an interesting lineup when you have a guy like Rajon Rondo, who was an awesome facilitator, obviously a pure point guard, doesn't give you much shooting, but it's going to play his butt off on the defensive end, and he's just going to give you, good minutes like Boston last year without Rondo probably would not have did as great as they did. So it's a good acquisition. You can slide Drew Holiday over to the 2 because he actually has a little bit more scoring capability, things of that nature. And when you're dealing with Anthony Davis and DeMarcus Cousins, I mean, Rondo's going to set the table. That's what I like about it a lot. We know Rondo's going to set the table, and Drew Holiday, as Rondo's, excellent, he can pick up a lot of skills from a Rondo.
Well, and not only do I agree with that, but I'll go even to this. I think that Rajon Rondo's a good addition if Alvin Gentry uses Davis and Cousins the right way, which is to go inside out with those two. Because if you have a scorer like Holiday, who averages about 16 points a game, Rondo's definitely more of a facilitator, defensive guy. So if you have those two guys with the other two in Cousins and Davis, New Orleans has a real option here to actually be one of the 8 best teams in the West, but the problem is they constantly prove that they can have a superior talent like an Anthony Davis or a guy you just paid in Drew Holiday, but never really get it together. The Pelicans can get it together this year. They can give a lot of people fits having 2 of the 3 top big men in the game on one team. So we'll have to see how that goes. And in other news today, just a quick footnote, the San Antonio Spurs lost Jonathan Simmons, who was a restricted free agent. However, Simmons got an offer that the Spurs were not willing to match. 3 years, $20 million to go to the Orlando Magic. My take on this deal is real simple. Simmons wanted to get money. He didn't necessarily see any value in staying in San Antonio, even though he was really the only scoring they had after Kawhi Leonard went down in the Western Conference Finals. Obviously, the Spurs got swept, so it wasn't like he was having Michael Jordan-esque nights. But my thing is this. Simmons got paid, but I feel like the Spurs at this point, they're losing a lot of pieces. So it'll be real interesting to see how they do this year. But the Magic are actually an intriguing team to me. Like, they're starting to add some people that could start to get you a little bit skeptical as to how next year, and with the East being so weak, anything's possible, and Simmons is a good player for them to add.
Definitely. Jonathan Simmons was a key cog to the whole Spurs season last year, and especially when Kawhi Leonard went down. I mean, if LaMarcus Aldridge would have stepped up, I don't believe they would have got swept out of that at all, with the injury going down, because Jonathan Simmons definitely gave you his all, and to me, he earned his 3 years, $20 million, even if it's not with the Spurs. And more to your point about what the Orlando Magic is doing, you give them 2 or 3 years, they're going to be a contender in the East, in my opinion. They have a lot of good young talent they've been working with, and they have a great tall point guard. I like with the hair. I can't remember his name. Payton. Elfrid Payton. Yeah. To me, I think this should be a kind of a breakout year for this kid. And like you said, in the East, the talent is weak. You're adding a nice. To me, Simmons has the potential to be maybe, right up there, not a top-tier player, but second-tier player in this league. And even when he showed flashes, you never know. Maybe he could be the guy on the team if he decides, to hit that drive. Right. I like the acquisition by the Orlando Magic and Jonathan Simmons. The Spurs this year, it's going to be a tough year. You guys lost a lot of pieces. You got Kawhi coming off an injury. You have the best coach in the league still. But I'm really looking to see how far they're going to slide down in the standings, because you don't really have a strong roster right now.
No, and I would agree with that. And I think that, I'm always going to trust Popovich before I'm going to sit there and think that I don't know what's going on. However, what I will say is this. Tony Parker hasn't officially retired, and neither has Ginobili at this point. And I'm starting to kind of wonder if maybe those two guys might come back as role players more or less. But Parker proved last year he can still start with Patty Mills backing him up. But here's the thing.
He's not going to be able to do it for 82 games.
But he's not, that's my point. He's to the point age-wise where and they just gave Mills a nice contract. So it looks like they're trying to have a guy in there who's a system guy more or less. So we'll see how that goes. CWMP would like to congratulate. We don't cover tennis much on this show, but not maybe congratulate right away, but Venus Williams obviously made it to the finals of Wimbledon. And Venus, obviously an accomplished tennis, obviously Serena of the two is the one you consider to be the best ever. But Venus Williams has won 7 majors. She's had a great tennis career by all accounts. She did lose at Wimbledon today in the final, and I'm going to butcher this lady's name, and my apologies to Garbine. Can you even pronounce her last name?
I'm going to go with Garbine Muguruza.
Okay.
Muguruza.
You did better than I did. So my thing is this. I really want to, give her congratulations. But Venus Williams, for those of you who don't know, went through a pretty traumatic experience where she was involved with a traffic situation where somebody actually passed away, and she was playing on pure emotion in Wimbledon and proved she can still play with the best in the world.
Hold on, man. I got to get at Andy Raven right now. He's over here trying to
He's clowning on you, dude.
From last week. If you guys were here, it was news to me that there was actually 2 MVPs.
Can we get the breaking news?
In the baseball league. I mean, I know that's probably silly, as you guys know how vast my knowledge is of sport, but I have to say baseball is one that I might not be too great at. So yes, that was news to me. It was a total change up for a little baseball analogy for you out there, Andy. But being a fan of the Angels, you got much more to worry about than me not knowing the MVPs out there, buddy.
Wow. Anyway, so we're gonna move on from that. You're not going to dog my Angels like that and let me continue.
Sure will.
No.
And we know LeBron James is going to need some rest too, Andy. I saw that other comment that you had on there. I'm loving it. He's definitely going to need rest. He's never going to play 82 games.
I think he's going to play 82 games this year just to prove he can still do it.
Never. LeBron James will never see 82 games in his career.
But what I will say is this: as we get into our not our lead segment anymore, the sampler platter, obviously, and that is actually sponsored by Whipped Up by Wit, my wife's wonderful Facebook page. And if you've listened to the commercial, if you need 45 cakes for a tea on the fly, you can go ahead and check out Whipped Up by Wit on Facebook. And for the sampler platter, and obviously Major League Baseball is a huge topic right now because we are now past the All-Star break. We made the creed on this show that we were not going to panic for anybody until after the All-Star break. And quite honestly, we'll give you the rundown a little bit. So your leaders in the AL right now are the Boston Red Sox. They're up 3.5 games on the Tampa Bay Rays, who have moved into second place. That's surprising in and of itself. The Cleveland Indians are in first place in the AL Central. No real surprise there. Kansas City's made a nice comeback in that division as well. And then you've got the Houston Astros with an astronomical lead over the Texas Rangers. They're 61-29 and 16 games up in the AL West. Doesn't look like they're going to be losing their lead anytime soon. The Nationals leading the Atlanta Braves in the NL East, and that's by 9.5 games. The Brewers surprising the rest of baseball. My gosh, the Brewers now 51-41 and leading the Cubs and the Cardinals by 5.5 and 6.5 games respectively. Then there's the L.A. Dodgers.
You just made somebody on Facebook very happy with your Royal shout-out. I'm sure you know who that is.
Joshua Celebrate. Thank you for Hey, Josh, by the way, I am loving the flat top, dude. Shout out the 90s.
When you say poolside, poolside, hey, that was a throwback. Before you go on, Mike, I definitely got to shout out Chris Lemoyne as well. I don't appreciate you siding with Andy on this one. I'm not used to that. You guys usually go at it. So I like to see a little bit more of that. And
you need to remember there's an AL and an MVP for future discussions, partner.
Kid in play. Hey, that is the kid in play that Josh is rocking, Andy. I'm with that.
There's no question. There's no question about that. How Josh and Andy know each other, I'm not even sure.
How does Andy even know about kid in play is more what I wanted to know.
Dude, do you not know that he still wears his clothes backwards on Throwback Friday for crisscross?
Crisscross make you want to jump.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, but the Dodgers obviously are very close to Pluto and Hebrew's heart. They're at 62-29, and
I love that true blue Dodgers shirt Pluto got on.
Hey, Pluto, Does it not feel like we were talking about this 2 months ago and the Rockies seem to be just running over people, and now all of a sudden, I mean, the Dodgers have caught epic fire at this point. They are looking ridiculous.
And what we did say a couple of shows back was do not panic, and it's too early to tell.
But now it looks like the Rockies are going to need to start panicking because outside of Arenado playing his butt off, that team is starting to kind of cripple itself with its pitching. I mean, it really is starting to become an Achilles heel for them. Pluto, I want to.
The Colorado lost their loss. Arizona lost their last 3.
And you know what's interesting? Arizona's 16 games above 500, which for them is amazing, and they're still 8.5 back. I mean, it's incredible. But let me ask you a question, Pluto. Of all the teams in the NL right now, I mean, obviously, record-wise, you've got the Nationals and the Dodgers being the 2 best. Do you see anybody else in the running right now in the National League for the pennant, or does it just kind of come down to those 2 right at this moment, with the Dodgers and the Nationals?
You know what? Maybe Milwaukee puts up some sort of a fight as we get down here in the stretch and people start looking down the barrel at the end of the season.
Right.
But without some kind of major internal mess up, just some kind of breakdown within the team. We're past All-Star break. I think it's too late.
I think the only team right now that would have a shot to contend with those 2, if I'm looking at it just today, is the Chicago Cubs. But the Cubs have to get their stuff together. There's no question But see,
that's a hope and a dream right there, Big Mike.
That's true, and I'm not saying that the Cubs will. I picked the Dodgers to go to the series.
Yeah.
So my thing is this. The Chicago Cubs are the only team talented enough right now in the NL, in my opinion. If they can pull it together, the Brewers are only 5.5 up on them with about 70 to play. So you can't really sit there and say, oh, well, they're not going to be – no, you can't really do that yet. They're playing terrible right now, but the Cubs definitely have the talent on their roster to come back. In the AL, the Astros are pretty much running away with this thing.
Before you move on to the AL, Mike,
go ahead,
definitely want to come in with our social media, Facebook.
Hit it up.
I got to shout out Duncan Penderhooves, who just scored a 1,600 on his SATs. That's an awesome score. He probably that sounds like a full ride scholarship for the.
I didn't even know it went that high.
For the academics in my book, that's pretty awesome, man. Chris, thank you for that information. Duncan, good job, dude.
Wow, that's impressive.
Excellent.
I think that's like a perfect score.
Excellent.
It is a perfect score. That's pretty impressive. Anyway, so let me, Pluto, I want to get your take on this again. So with the Sox, the Indians, and the Astros being the AL leaders right now, as far as divisions, there are 2 divisions in Major League Baseball.
Please don't start.
But no,
I know more about baseball than that. I just didn't know about the MVPs. Are you kidding me right now?
You know what? You're going to get just clowned on all day for that. But anyway, I want to ask you, Pluto, of those 3 teams, who's got the best chance to legitimately make the series, or do you like an outside dark horse without those 3?
Well, I think we were talking about a little earlier that Tampa Bay seems to be coming in feeling the
they are feeling themselves right now.
They won the last 3. They're only back. Actually, if they win their game tonight, they're ahead by half a game. Mm-hmm. So they actually pull ahead of Boston if they win their game tonight.
Well, they're 3.5 back of Boston right now.
That's not. Oh, you know what? I'm looking at the wrong stat. My bad.
That's all right. No worries. No. That's okay though. But no.
I'm sorry.
And
does not compute.
Right.
And then if you're just taking the top 3 teams, what do you think?
You know what? I think it's Houston or Boston. I think Cleveland's doing good, but Cleveland's doing good in the Central Division where Minnesota's your biggest
and Minnesota doesn't look like they're going to hang in there for the whole season.
No, I think it's Boston or Houston, and I think out of that you're going to get maybe one of the greatest series of this whole playoffs this year.
Without question, and I actually am going with the Red Sox over the Astros strictly because of pitching. And I think if the Red Sox are fully healthy, they have a better pitching staff than the Stros. I think Dallas Keuchel and Chris Sale cancel each other out, but I think if Porcello and Price can start pitching the way that they normally do, the Red Sox are going to be really hard to beat. So I really do feel that that's where the Sox are at. Hebrew, do you like anybody of those three, Cleveland,
I
Houston?
definitely got to go with the Houston Astros on that one. That was simple for me when I was, hearing you discuss it yourself, but definitely Houston to me has more firepower, a little bit better on the defensive side.
Without a doubt.
So I got the Houston Astros, plus Chris Paul is in Houston now, so I'm rocking with Houston teams.
Even though it has nothing to do with baseball.
I'm rocking Houston teams, so I'm definitely going with that.
Well, no.
It does have to do with that because of the simple fact that on my Twitter, I follow Chris Paul, and he just shouted out the Houston Astros.
Well, there you go. So
we're going with it.
So obviously Chris Paul's a bandwagon fan because he was a Dodger fan when he played for the Clippers. So anyway, but I don't blame him for the amount of money that man's making. I'd be a bandwagon fan too.
And we got Josh jumping in on the conversation. He thinks the Royals are coming to knock everybody off, so we'll see what happens with that one.
And no, but definitely.
How about those Giants? That's what I wanted to know, Big Mike.
The Giants. The Giants. Oh, my gosh, the Giants.
I haven't heard any mention of the great San Francisco Giants.
The Giants are so far in the cellar this year, they're under the floorboards. They're just absolutely terrible.
Well, maybe at least they got some good wine down there.
Oh, they actually might. Okay, so, Pluto, I want to give you the rundown of the top 5 teams in the AL wildcard. You give me 2 that are going to make it. Tampa Bay, the Yankees, the Twins, the Rangers, and the Royals.
And you need 2?
And I need 2 to play in the playoff game.
Royals, Tampa Bay.
Very nice. And you know what?
Wow.
I'm going to agree with you on Kansas City because of how experienced that team is and how good they are playing as of late. But I'm going with the Yankees. I think the Aaron Judge factor is going to carry them into the postseason.
I couldn't believe it when I heard them just skip over that. I'm like,
the Yankees are definitely going
to be such a bandwagon.
It got to be the Yanks and Tampa Bay in my
You're
opinion.
calling me a bandwagon Yankees fan right now? How dare you?
We're not fans of the Yankees. We're just giving educated opinions.
I just think the Yankees are one of the 2 best teams out of that.
Gotta be.
I also, and then I'm going to give you 5 more, Pluto.
Okay.
Wow, even Addy didn't like your response on that one. He was like, come on, man.
Diamondbacks, Rockies, Cubs, Cardinals, Braves. I need 2.
I didn't hear the Giants again.
Say them again, one more time.
Diamondbacks, Rockies, Cubs, Cardinals, Braves.
Cubs and Braves.
Ooh, you like Atlanta in that?
That's kind of off to me. I'm going with the Rockies and the D-backs.
Okay,
that's my dark horse.
And I have to agree.
Is that horse's name Midnight?
I have to agree. I have to agree with Hebrew on this one. I'm going Rockies and the Diamondbacks.
Easy.
Strictly from the perspective that they're the 2 best teams outside of the Dodgers. And they'd be leading any other division, Pluto. I mean, they really would. So I'm agreeing with Hebrew on that. I absolutely think that. And then my final question to you guys is this. Who right now, and I'm excluding Mike Trout from this conversation, sorry, Andy, because he just came back from injury. Right now, pitcher or otherwise, who's the best player in baseball at this point? I know you hate this question,
but it's a dumb question.
No, it's not.
Because it's like saying who's the best football player.
Okay, so
it's really not relevant in baseball.
So give me the best pitcher and give me the best player.
So the best pitcher is Kershaw.
Okay, give me your best player.
Best hitter, I would say is Judge.
Okay.
And then for fielding, you know what? You took Trout out, and I like Trout's fielding. I like Cody Bellinger.
Okay, that's
a little bit of a homer.
That's not a surprise at all. Who you got, Hebrew, when it comes to this?
I tend to agree with Pluto. Baseball is such the positions are so diverse. You got so many things going on. I don't know how you guys can pick one player.
Right.
Like you said, hitter, this and that. Mm-hmm. But I tend to definitely agree with Pluto on all his picks. I like Kershaw, Judge, and Bellinger.
I am going with Kershaw because he's borderline.
You gotta go with Kershaw.
He's borderline Hall of Fame right now. Like, without ever pitching another game in his life.
Guaranteed.
I'm actually for the hit. Since we broke it up into hitting and fielding, I'm actually going with Jose Altuve of the Houston Astros being the best offensive player. He's batting .347, and he's literally running that lineup for the Houston Astros. And his hitting could not be more timely right now. So he's playing at an MVP caliber level, and I know Aaron Judge's numbers are just fantastic to look at, and they're big on the scoreboard, but Jose Altuve is on the best team in the AL, and he is leading the league in batting by, I believe, 22 points going into today. So that's a guy you definitely got, and I love Bellinger as a fielder. That guy can do anything. I mean, he's unbelievable. So, and Cody, and I want to make a mention of something since I'm sitting here with two Dodger fans.
The fact that he just batted the cycle tonight?
Yeah, Bellinger did hit for the cycle for the Dodgers, but I want to bring up something here also.
Hey, Pluto, do you see that score in that Dodgers game?
I haven't looked at it since we started.
Against Miami? What is it looking like, Big Mike?
7-1 right now. Dodgers are up. But here's the impressive part to me about the Dodgers, and Pluto and Hebrew, you guys can speak more to this. I'm looking at it from the perspective, the most dangerous thing about the Dodgers is it's not even their pitching that's winning them games right now. It's literally their offense. And if somehow Rich Hill can go 3 months without a blister on his hand, or Ryu can actually wake up and actually pitch a couple good games in a row, the Dodgers are going to be almost unbeatable, because with Bellinger and Turner and all these guys in the middle of that lineup, and Puig is playing out of his mind this year, possibly his best year ever as a big leaguer. It seems to me like the crew in blue is actually looking like the team to beat overall.
And a couple months ago we said I mean, it's easy to say this, but if the bats stayed hot and the bullpen could produce, they could ride their talent all the way in. They had enough to do there. But besides Puig having a great year, he's matured. He really has. You haven't heard these as much. I think there's been like 2 or 3 of these behind the scene Puig going crazy stories like we did a couple seasons ago. And we were just talking about how, I guess, someone threw at his head today, right? You were telling me that. And by the way, Chris Lemoyne, big time friend of the show, he's got Aaron Judge as the best player going, guys, and I really can't argue with him. Again, I feel it's a thing where we cannot just say who is the best player because of the positions. But it's hard to argue with, pulling any of those names off the top.
Well, and that's true. And I like what you're saying about the Dodgers, though, man, because they really right now – but the Astros are so underrated because of the market they're in, but the Astros are playing out of their mind. Like, they're literally – you know what's funny is the 76ers and the Astros plans got laughed at for so long, and the Sixers haven't done it yet, but the Astros – have just come to full circle so far this season, and Dallas Keuchel looks like he might win his second AL Cy Young, so we'll see. Anyway, though, we definitely appreciate you joining us tonight, no matter how that might be happening. We are live streaming on Facebook and YouTube. NBBA Radio, obviously. Shout out to Picasso. I'm using his non-government name. And obviously to Gerling and obviously FYI Studios, Power 102.1 FM, the Roku app, and TuneIn. So thank you so much for however you're joining or watching us tonight. We really do appreciate it. Pluto, do we have to go...
Yeah, let's take a little break here.
Okay, fair enough. So we're going to actually head to our first commercial break for the night, guys, and then we will be back. Thank you so much again for joining us. Thanks so much always to Project Pluto and to our new social media queen, Whitney Williams. Does happen to be my wife. She is the most tolerant woman in the entire world, so there is no question about that. But we will be back with more of the Sampler Platter. This is CWMP on a Saturday night, live in Mission Viejo.
For 17, they know I love my crew. Jesus Christ that made us brothers. He increase our numbers. Blood brothers, Zion brothers. Zion sharp as Zion. Feeling low, just play this song and know that you are family. First solely royalty. What you mean to me? Filled with hope, trying to put some hope up on this beat. I won't keep it quiet. No, I won't be discreet. No, King Jesus, King proclaim that on every street. Hebrew trumpet, let them know my King is coming. Some believe it, some can't, and some just won't. When that trumpet blow, on that day we all gon' see. Nobody know when he coming like a thief. On my job, trying to reach as many I can reach. begun, sight the sun where you find me. Soldiers glowing like a fire, you can feel it around me. I discern, you might see 1,000 angels with me. It's our turn, read the scripture said we got the victory. We already won. It's our turn, read the scripture said we got the victory. We already won, family. What you think, Pluto? We got the victory. Classical for 17, reality out of dreams. Out this world, way past Pluto, we combat the SIBOs. In this game, we proclaim what's Ringo. Naruto, Shippuden, all the same mode. Secret jutsu, I'ma hit 'em with 1,000 clones. Master Rasengan, about to let it go. Do it for my village Christians, we in every section. Hit it in the clouds, we just the crew. Classical for 17, reality out of dreams. Out this world, way past Pluto, we combat the SIBOs. In this game, we proclaim what's Ringo. Naruto, Shippuden, all the same mode. Secret jutsu, I'ma hit 'em with 1,000
What up, Fally? Welcome back. You are live in the studio with CWP Nation on a Saturday night.
Whoop.
Got to shout out FYI Studios. Gerlene, we see you. Picasso on Not By Bread Alone Radio. Power 102 FM out of Miami, Atlanta, and Boston, man. It's so awesome to be syndicated with these three networks. We thank you for, carrying us every week. We're definitely back. We got our awesome sponsors of this show, Cloud Crew 417, whipped up by Whitney, PlatinumPluto.com. Anybody looking to sponsor a great show with some awesome set of listeners and fans who, we engage with totally every day. You got a business opportunity out there. You're like, we're so engaged with our fans. Like, the word is going to get out. So if I'm you, I'm hollering at, CWPNation.com. Figure out how you can get on here. Man, we got an awesome coffee cup going for $10. CWPNation.com. You can be rocking with us every single day of the week with that coffee cup, family.
Absolutely.
Where we at in the show, Big Mike?
Well, I wanted to bring something up, and obviously I know Andy Raven, who's a friend of the show, is not going to like this discussion, but I watched the MLB All-Star Game this week, and by watch I meant took a nap through the first 8 innings or so, and then woke up and saw Robinson Cano hit a home run and go back to bed. So my thing is this. It was a 2-1 game, and everybody's saying, well, if you liked it, you like a pitcher's duel. Not in the All-Star game, I don't. I would rather you have a practice pitcher go out and literally throw a literal lob fest of just home runs so that, you can have a 11-9 game or have something with some intrigue.
Can I interrupt your talk about the snoozer? Got to shout JJ3 out from New Orleans, said we got the best radio show out.
Woo!
Hit us
Thank you
with
very
some
much,
fire
JJ.
emojis. That's coming all the way from New Orleans.
From the Big Easy.
Where
Thank
you
so
said
much,
you didn't
JJ.
know about the Pelican basketball, Pluto. So JJ3 out there, he'll let you know
He just
about
hitting it up. But here's what I want to bring.
Hold on. Hold the presses. Shout out Whitney. We are booming right now on
We
Facebook
are.
Live.
That's my wife.
Let's go.
But yes, and the beautiful Whitney Williams has been added as our social media director.
No, Andy, this is not the best All-Star game. Can somebody tell Andy that MLB game was horrible?
Andy, I would rather watch an All-Star game end in a tie than that garbage that I had to
What was
watch
that,
on
Pluto?
Tuesday night.
I know drugs aren't Christian, but I want what he's on. Dude.
Andy got it. It's that
Okay,
Villa pizza.
So I actually can I make a pitch here? It might sound ridiculous. Can we actually get the celebrity softball game in place of the MLB All-Star game? Because that's actually entertaining to watch.
Celebrity softball game is awesome.
Like, I'd rather have that than a 2-1 pitcher's duel in the All-Star game. Like, Pluto, you watch baseball all the time. Am I wrong, or like, is this?
We know what you meant, Andy. It's not the best out of 4 sports, buddy.
I've never understood the All-Stars for any league.
I don't like
think
any
it's a
of them
waste.
right now.
I think it's
You know what you should do? Name them all pros, all NBA, all MLB, whatever you want to do, and let that be it, and don't even have an All-Star game.
Why? Half of half of them who are worth anything aren't going to play anyway.
And by the way, the
I'll
home
give you
run
one
derby,
reason
way
why.
more watchable.
I tuned in for the home run derby.
Go ahead, Hebrew.
I give you one reason why they're not going to cut the All-Star game, even though they're horrible
Money.
these days. Ching! Where's it at, Pluto?
Give us the cash box,
That's
man.
the only reason why.
There it is.
Whatever city gets to host the All-Star game for any of these four major sports, you're talking about hotels, restaurants, ticket sales. Oh my gosh, jersey sales. They're not going to cut it, but my thing is this: professional sports. People running these organizations, make it entertaining. Something you can do. Yeah. I don't know if you guys want to let the high school kids play a little bit, because I'm sure they'll give us a better show. Even if I saw some high school kids balling out, I'm like,
I'm not going to go.
I'd rather see the kids of the players of the All-Star team.
Okay,
thank you. I'm with that, Pluto.
I actually, you know what? Honestly, you know what's a good idea? I'd actually rather watch the college All-Stars, guys that are on the All-American team
hungry.
Play, and actually give that to be a chance for some scouting and some prospects. But the MLB All-Star Game, they got to do something with that, because it was terrible. Now, going from that to something that was great, the home run derby, Aaron Judge, if you're pitching him grapefruits, makes hitting a 500 feet home runs for that guy is nothing. Like, he's literally swinging that bat saying Yahtzee every single time he hits it. Because he hit a ball so far out of Marlins Park, it actually left the actual vicinity and literally went onto the catwalk in the back of Marlins Park.
That's amazing.
That's how far he hit it.
Did you see he had one hit? Yeah. That actually hit the roof and was disqualified.
Because at Tropicana Field in Tampa, they count that as a home run, but at Marlins Park, they don't.
That's crazy.
So what's interesting to me is the guy literally hits it 500 feet, and he can hit it up in the air 400 feet. So when you're...
And that doesn't count for a home run, huh?
No, it doesn't, but I want to point this out.
Amazing.
Was the home run derby with Cody Bellinger and with Giancarlo Stanton and all of these other guys... It was so entertaining to watch these guys hit home runs, and that was more watch. And Andy, buddy, I know you love Major League Baseball, but even Rob Manfred was cursing the MLB All-Star Game this year because it was absolutely unwatchable for the majority of the game.
It definitely was.
It wasn't any good. There wasn't anything to be intrigued with. The only thing that was intriguing was in the ninth inning when, you had a couple of hitters with, some runners on for the NL, but then Cano cranks that shot in the 10th.
Blah, blah,
you know how
blah.
you know when it's a bad All-Star game? When you can literally get one hit, it's a home run, and you're the MVP. That's literally how you know it's a bad All-Star game. Hey, I love me some Robbie Cano, but you can't sit there and tell me that was a good All-Star game under any... Even Clayton Kershaw, who's a pitcher, probably turned it off. Since he didn't go, he's probably like, I can't watch this stuff. This is ridiculous.
We got our guys on Facebook Live. Josh seems to tend to agree with us that the All-Star game is trash in the MLB. Chris thinks we're crazy. He thinks the NBA and NFL are worse. I will give you that the NFL game
they're all bad.
Horrible.
They're all bad.
The NBA is going to be my favorite out of those. NFL game is worse than MLB.
That's like picking the prettiest turd.
The worst is the NFL, because if there's anybody of any prominence, they're not going to risk getting injured. No one's agent is going to let them play.
You know what my problem is with the NBA? My problem is with the NBA, they purposely don't play. They just play, that's what we used to do in shoot-around in high school, which you would go mess around, throw an alley-oop, shoot from half court. See, if I'm going to do that, I'm going to watch a big 3 on FS1. I'd rather watch a game of 3-on-3 or watch guys who, do a skills competition or something else. These all-star games in every single sport are a joke.
They're horrible.
They're terrible. They're unwatchable. As a matter of fact, you should get that event for free if you're a season ticket holder, and they should just pick people. Yeah, that's exactly where the all-star games belong.
What up, Daniel Prado? We see you. Thank you for checking in all the way from Colorado.
No doubt, Daniel. Thank you, sir. So I want to go from the MLB All-Star Weekend. Obviously,
MLB is definitely the worst All-Star game.
I want to go from them to the NFL, and the Cowboys have high hopes, and it's been talked about that they're the Super Bowl favorite with the Patriots, whoever you're talking to, whatever. It was found out this week that due to some off-the-field things that Zeke Elliott is going through, he very well might be out 1 to 2 games for the start of the Cowboys season. Now, with the Cowboys having such high expectations right now, is it a big deal to you guys that Zeke Elliott is possibly going to not be in for 1 or 2 games? And I want to remind everybody, he's a 1,600-yard back with 15 touchdowns and a 5.1 yard rush or yards per rush. He's a big part of what they do, and there's not a backup running back that they have right now that's going to instill the same level of fear that he is going to. So let's say he misses 2 games max. Hebrew, is it a big deal?
I really don't have a comment on this part at all.
Okay. What?
I got one.
Okay, go ahead.
You know what? 1 to 2 games is nothing. I think they've got, if that front line can hold up and and Prescott can just deliver all normal, they can get over the hump of 1 or 2 games without him. That's fine. 5, 6 games, yeah, we're talking about some problems, especially if there's no backup.
Right.
But for 1 or 2 games, bro, I ain't worried. If everything else is firing like it should be on that team, it'll be fine.
I would tend to agree with you, but here's where I will say there might be a difference. If Zeke is not in there to start the season, there could be some problems for Dak in the first 2 weeks.
Would it be the first game?
Well, it's supposedly 1 or 2. That's what's being reported by Adam
No, but I'm
Schefter.
saying, does he have to take the first game of the season off?
That's correct.
Okay.
So it's going to be game 1 or game 2, whatever it may be. My point is that with Prescott being studied harder, and if Zeke is out, you're taking away half of the Cowboys' arsenal, essentially, and you're putting Prescott out there a little more on an island than normal. Now, the Cowboys' offensive line, along with the Raiders, is generally considered the best offensive line in football. So my thing is this. It is, wow, the defensive chant for offensive talk.
Sorry.
I love it. But here's my point. The Cowboys aren't going to be in trouble if it's a 2-game suspension, because even if they go 0-2, they need to win, probably 11 or 12 games to win that division?
I was going to say, and it's in that division, all you got to do is worry about the Giants.
My bigger question is going to be, are you going to be able to keep Dak Prescott healthy through those 2 games if he is going to be the main focus of a defense constantly?
Yeah, if your team can't survive your starting running back being down for 2 games, you're not making it through you're barely getting to the playoffs.
Right.
You're not making it through the playoffs.
But I think regardless of what happens, they're literally going to be fine. Either way, it doesn't really matter what the outcome is. So we'll see how that progresses. Okay, and Hebrew, I know you got a comment on this one. Just all I'm going to say is Mayweather-McGregor, and you go, partner.
Josh is crazy. He said they should let Romo run it back. I like that one.
They actually should.
Anyways, this McGregor-Mayweather thing, man, I was kind of excited about it. Not today, Andy. I have no opinion on that one. But anyways, this whole Conor McGregor-Mayweather thing, I was excited about the fight when I saw everything. You know, social media has been blowing up. Everybody's been seeing all the trash talk back and forth. Awesome trash talk. But today on the ride up here, I see that they've been hopping off of the same private jet together, basically buddy-buddy. Now we know this is going to be a 12-round fight. There's not going to be a cut, not going to be a bruise. They're going to go out and parlay and eat dinner afterwards and all this type of stuff.
You think it'll end with a decision?
It's a guaranteed decision. After seeing what came off of social media, this is ridiculous. Like, you guys at least should be taking separate planes. So I'm totally like, I know this ain't sweet and sour yet, but I'm totally sour on this fight. I was thinking about buying it. I'll tell you right now, I'm not spending my hard-earned dollars on that fight. I'll wait till it pops up.
No Grubhub money.
No tips on that. And I'm trying to. I'll wait till it pops up on my HBO or Showtime. I always pay for it. And I really don't like the theatrics that comes in with this new pro sports world in general. It's like we don't talk about WWE on this show for a reason, because it's theatrical. And if you guys want to keep up these theatrics, we won't be talking about you anymore either.
Well, and I want to shout out a good friend of mine, Adam. I hope you're still listening to the show, buddy. Adam Drexler, who's been a good friend of mine and who's getting married this coming April, so congratulations to him and his
about
fiance.
That married life.
And Adam, thanks for tuning into the show, buddy. I hope you're still listening, partner. Here's the other thing I'm going to say about that, and I would tend to agree with you, but this is what I love about Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather. They put on probably a better show than any professional wrestler in the history of pro sports. They literally have everybody buying into this fight at this point just to see them go at each other.
Yeah.
Not because it's going to be a real fight, but because they're so animated. They're selling this fight so well to the. I want to give you.
It's the Laval Ball rule of marketing.
But I want to give you guys a stat that I found to be crazy. So you know how they went to the Barclays Center in Brooklyn and did one of these press conferences? It was $80 for a free ticket for a press conference. People were selling them on the internet a free ticket for $80 and getting it. I mean, that's insane. They're making money off of a press conference. They're making more money than most fighters make on an entire fight ticket-wise on their press conference tour, and that's in 4 cities.
And one of them, they had almost 30,000 people. I mean, that's a lot of...
They sold out the Barclays Center. The Nets can't sell out the Barclays Center.
They sure can't.
But yet Conor McGregor
That's a good point.
And Floyd Mayweather did it. So apparently somebody's buying tickets to the Barclays Center. It's just not to watch D'Angelo Russell. But
hey, don't forget about Mozgov. That's a hot commodity.
Yeah, no, he's really good. But my thing is, let me ask you, partner, because you and I are big fight fans. Do you actually think this is going to be any kind of fight?
No, like I was saying, when you just said the 2 words, I'm not even looking forward to this fight anymore. I know there's a lot of simple people out there that like to go for the hype and all this theatrics, like you're saying. These 2 guys, let me tell you, are both great promoters as far as talking trash, talking mess, getting people hyped up. But how could you really not like somebody if you're able to sit on a private jet with them? We're not talking about a commercial liner, which is huge, where you can literally be on opposite sides of the plane, not see the guy. These are tight, close, confined quarters when you're flying private.
Mm-hmm.
So they obviously have to be on some type of level of, camaraderie even to make that flight. So I really don't like it. I don't like the lying to the fans. I mean, Mayweather, having issues paying his taxes. He says he's worth so much money, but the cash is not liquid. So now it looks like he literally had to take the fight, just to get Uncle Sam off of his back, which is another reason why, even at his conferences, he doesn't look too sure of himself. I don't know if he's looking to throw this fight. I mean, I see everybody saying, hey, why don't he put $100 million on McGregor and throw it? Why not?
If you remember right, on a very early edition of CWMP, way before this was even a fight, I said, wouldn't it be interesting if Floyd Mayweather actually threw this fight, put, a couple 10, 20 million on himself or on McGregor to win,
and people are saying on social media agreeing with you, but they're upping it to $100 million.
Well, that's what I'm...
Why not?
Well, here's the thing. For those of you who are wondering what the odds are, if Conor McGregor were to win, for every $100 you're putting down on Conor McGregor, you get $700 back if he wins.
Amazing.
So if you put $100 million down, you make $700 million. So there's one thing that Floyd loves more than a zero in his loss column. It's money.
Of course.
And there is no doubt. And Chris Lemoyne, you're 100% right, buddy. No casino is going to allow him to bet.
It'll have to be a third-party bet.
But it'd have to be a third-party bet. But Chris makes a good point. They'd never let him put the money on the fight. So
he also
to clarify
made a good point that
it's a good point, Chris.
I would fly with somebody for $100 million too. I'm just saying I don't like the fakery.
Well, I don't like the fakeness of it either. I think it's a joke. I think what they've done is cheapen this fight by having those pictures. And, maybe those pictures, maybe people can make the argument that, no, they're not really doing that. It's just fake news. Okay, that's fine. If the perception's out there, I'm assuming that at some point it's true or to some level it's believable, at least. So I want to go to another topic, and obviously we are still in the sampler platter. Again, thank you so much to all of our listeners tonight, however you're watching or listening. We appreciate it, as always. And I will say this, I'm going to have to do it, and I never do this in sports, but I'm going to have to change my opinion of somebody. LeVar Ball's a stinking genius.
Bummer.
That guy
I don't think that's really a change in opinion. We always thought he was a genius.
No. Here's why I'm saying that. So earlier this week, Lonzo was spotted wearing the brand new Kobe's from Nike and the James Harden midnight edition or something like that from Adidas. Comes out that he now has competing $100 million contracts from both Nike and Adidas. And LeVar Ball has literally taken his son from Chino Hills and a state title to being obscure at UCLA for his first half of his freshman year, pumped him up. Now they're literally looking at over $100 million for a shoe deal. And Lonzo, to his credit, has been balling like crazy. First 2 triple-doubles in Summer League history. But and you make that face, and I'm going to actually follow up with that. It is just Summer League, and I get that. But you don't see Josh Jackson, Jason Tatum, or anybody else who's a top pick doing that.
Or anybody else who's ever been through Summer League.
So my point is this. Lonzo is playing really well right now, and all of a sudden you've got 2 9-figure contracts on the table from the 2 biggest basketball shoe, or 2 of the 3, sorry, Under Armour's in there, but 2 of the 3 biggest basketball shoe conglomerates that there are in the world. You got to give some credence to that, and it looks like that the deal is just going to be a licensing deal where Big Baller Brand's going to be a part of one of those 2. He might not sign exclusively. So there's a lot to be worked out there. I mean, there's so many different things to go with that. But it's all speculation right now. But Pluto, I know how you feel about LeVar, but at this point, can we at least give him credit as a businessman that he has turned something obscure into just something ridiculous at this point?
Is it that we give him credit for this incredible strategy of marketing, or is it something to be said about culture and where we are as a people now, where this is who we respond to? Like we don't the only guy we respond to
just flip the script on that
is the dude.
I applaud him for it.
Is the dude making the biggest noise and acting like the biggest jerk? And that for some reason, the biggest braggadocious,
Why is that appealing?
Why is that appealing to us as a culture? Why does it, like the Shermans kind of the world, the bigger the mouth, the better. It kind of started with Deion Sanders, and I think it just kind of exploded into this new thing. Anyway, but that's not the question. You know what?
Thank you for not answering.
You know what? He did a really good job, and I've seen him do like little video shorts for ESPN and all the sports stuff, and whenever they're talking about his kid, he finds a way to bring himself into that video, man.
Always.
I saw some sports science video where they were talking to his kid, and
he was there.
He figured out a way to get right into that thing. So he definitely knows what he's doing. I think it's sad for us on the cultural side that this is what we respond to, but the dude definitely seems to know how to inflate his kid's
Well, I'm
going
to be a little bit less of a social justice warrior, and I'm going to go ahead and go with this. I think LeVar has done himself and his family a huge service by doing exactly what he's done. But Lonzo has to keep doing what he's doing when it matters for those deals to keep pouring in and for that notoriety to matter. So we'll have to see. I mean, Hebrew, where are you at, buddy? I know we've talked very candidly about this before. So where are you at?
Before I get to that, let me shout out Chris Lemoyne. What you said about Lonzo Ball, which he said is look at his passes, score is whatever, but his passes is what makes him special.
His passes are awesome.
Exactly what I said last week, Chris Lemoyne. When I see the way this boy, the court vision that he has is so awesome, and he delivers the ball one-handed, bounce passes, chest pass. He could throw the pass from any angle. He's awesome when it comes to passing, and this is what I like about Lonzo Ball. I'm glad you brought that point back up. Now, to his father, LeVar Ball, I really am, from a marketing side and a business side of things, I think he's a genius. I really appreciate what LeVar Ball did for his family, just like, everybody was saying here on the show. And as far as the whole thing went, I believe it was all a marketing ploy. Like Pluto was saying, even on ESPN, he's going to pop up no matter where it's at, and he's going to have a Triple B hat on. He's going to have a Triple B shirt on. You know exactly what his brand means. You know Big Baller Brand. It's already an internationally recognized logo, which makes it awesome, which is the reason why you got Nike and Adidas willing to give him $100 million, because he's already made himself an internationally recognized star. And like Big Mike said, it was off of not much, and not even just the one championship. I go back to the little brother LaMelo, who really kicked it off. Those 92 points have now set up almost $1 million a point for the whole family, and this is just the first kid out. So we don't know what's going to be coming next, from the other two sons when they actually get in the league. Like I said, man, shout out him from a father perspective, because, coming from a typical, urban lifestyle, we didn't have dads growing up. We didn't have dads pushing us, pumping us. Mm-hmm. And this is the problem. Like, when you have somebody in your corner, look what can actually happen. So from that point of view, I take my hat off to LeVar Ball. He was there for all 3 of his sons. The kids didn't get in trouble, and he got them all millionaires already.
I do want to make it clear, though, at least from my perspective, I don't support what he said about his teammates. I don't support what LeVar has.
I don't support none of the craziness.
No. And I don't support the fact that LeVar continues to be disrespectful to certain people.
Oh, of
I
course.
think that part's a joke.
That's why only thing kudo was marketing.
Right, but his marketing is proven.
Genius.
But I do think I want to say something about what Pluto said, though. It does say something about us as a society because – if you had a guy doing that back if Michael Jordan did that to market Air Jordans in the 80s and 90s, no one would have bought his shoe.
Never worked. You had to be a gentleman back then.
Absolutely, and we'll see what happens. But
dude, that's really what Hebrew just said is really important. You had to be a gentleman back then.
Well,
we're losing some of that, and I hate to be the old guy. Like
you are really the old, and you're the old guy on this show.
I know.
But the whole thing about that, Pluto, is especially in the NBA, the guy who started that would be your Dr. J. And so, as being the greatest player, also a gentleman, when you have that as your example, these guys are great. Now, like Pluto said, we have these stars, these Mayweathers, these people who are only popular because they're braggadocious.
Sherman.
Yeah, Shermans. All these people get notoriety because people love controversy at the end of the day. But this does not make it good, does not make it great. And I wish LeVar Ball would have done what he did without offending so many different, type of social and cultural groups. But the fact remains, the guy turned his son into a household name without even playing 1 minute of NBA basketball.
Fair enough. And I think we can all agree that LeVar Ball's business sense has definitely made his family potentially a lot of money at this point. We got one more before we go to the break, and I think this just follows up with what we were on last week, Brew. It, without a doubt, is true that the NFL players want to make NBA money. We talked last week about the fact.
I'm done with Andy. He
He
just asked me, taking more digs, does tennis have MVPs? I'm done.
Actually, Andy's kind of funny on that one.
Actually,
that's not a bad joke.
That's why I'm done with him.
That one's pretty good.
He won't let me breathe. Stop it, Andy.
Andy, it's okay. Obviously.
Chris also brought up a great point.
Go ahead.
He said that we talk about the balls every week, so somebody did their job.
You better believe it. But so we talked last week about the whole salary thing in the NBA versus the NFL. Richard Sherman made some great comments.
And now Andy's saying no comment.
At the ESPYs. And he said that the NFL players are going to have to be ready to strike if they want to make NBA money.
Hey, what you think, Mike? Was he listening to me talk last week? Do we have a listener of Richard Sherman?
Well, I would love it if Richard Sherman listened to this show. But here's what I want to get to. He's talking about strikes. He's talking about the NFL. He's talking about all these other things. We talked logistically last week that can't work. When you have a league that's worth $12 billion, it sounds like a lot of money, but when you have to pay out contracts, Kent Bazemore of the Atlanta Hawks, to give you an NBA example, makes somewhere in the neighborhood of about $17.5 million a year. If you've never heard of Kent Bazemore, you're not the only one. Because he's making, you got Otto Porter Jr. making $25.5 million or something a year right now for the New Jersey Nets, even more than that, something more like 27. So here's the thing, you can't pay an NFL salary like that if you got 53 guys on a team, so it doesn't even work that way. It wouldn't make sense. In the NBA, you literally have about 500 active players at any one given time. In the NFL, you got 1,600. So for Sherman to be saying this, I think I feel like he's kind of inciting that a little bit. And the NFL, when it goes on strike, it has proven to be really bad for this league. The big one was in 1982 where they lost over half the season. It took them a long time to get that viewership back. And look what it did to Major League Baseball. It almost bankrupted the sport. So, Hebrew, are you cool with Sherman saying this, or what do you think?
You already know, like I said, when you were setting it up, he was listening to, we're on the same wavelength. And I know what you say logistically about players and all this type of, boulder dash, in my opinion. They're making so much money, they can afford to play their marquee players a marquee salary. They need to guarantee these contracts. Richard Sherman, don't start with just getting more money. Get your money guaranteed. That's my biggest point.
Well, that would be the bigger point overall.
And secondly, just like in the NBA, when you're a rookie, you might have an $800,000, $900,000 contract. You got to earn the big contract. So, of course, everybody in the NFL is not going to get a 20-something, $1 million, these multi-million contracts. They're going to be paid at a lower level.
Right.
But for your marquee guys, They need to be paid to play because they are generating your revenue in the league. It's not the support cast that is making people watch. It's your Richard Shermans. It's your Tom Brady's. So these guys should definitely be compensated more, for what they bring revenue-wise to the NFL. That is just something the NFL is trying to sell to people, in my opinion. Oh, we have more players to pay. Okay, and you got more fans that come into your stadium every week. You got more money you're getting from TV revenue. Last time I checked, Super Bowl makes the most out of every sport. Super Bowl alone could cover these salaries. So to me, it's totally Boulder Dash. You guys need to get it together. Pay the guys what they're worth. Owners, stop being greedy. Pay them what they're worth. Guarantee these contracts. Richard Sherman is right. I hope somebody listens to him. The bad thing is who's saying it, because Richard Sherman doesn't have a lot of respect in this league. But I wish, some of these other guys like a Tom Brady getting up and saying this, you can believe nobody's going to play until they get paid.
It doesn't matter how many people say it or how important they are. The math isn't there. There's no way you can get. And Sherman doesn't know what he's talking about, because if he rallies the troops and pushes for this, like you were saying when you were talking about how well the strikes went in the past, you're only going to take money away from the league. There's no way you come out of a strike and you have more capital to compete with the NBA as far as salaries. It's stupid. It's a stupid comment all the way around.
And I'll interject on this point because I get what you're saying. I see your point, but here's my thing. If you go on strike and the owners refuse to budge, the NFL has damaged its product for the next 20 years. And what's going to happen out of that?
And that's the owner's fault, not the players.
Okay, but the owners don't have the capital to pay the players that much money.
That's hogwash.
No, buddy, it can't be hogwash. If there's 53 players, you can't pay them that kind of money.
You don't pay every 53 player $20 million.
But I'm saying, but if
some
dude,
that wasn't my point though. You're saying NBA type salaries, but keep in mind if you pay.
So you're telling me Tom Brady, if you're Kraft.
Okay.
And you got Tom Brady. Yeah. You're telling me that you can't afford to pay him a 4-year, $170 million deal? You're
not if you got to pay everyone else on that.
Well, I want you to think
about it.
What
are you going to do with Gronk? I believe that. What are you going to do with Gronk? What are you going to do with,
because you have to fill out a roster with 53 guys. The NFL has a policy that you have to have minimum number of players.
That's understandable. So you're not paying every player. Every player is not even going to make $1 million.
So what you're proposing is then you're just paying the really high-level guys a lot of money and you're letting all the other guys just kick it?
Same thing they do in the NBA.
Well,
same thing they do in baseball.
Well, the veterans minimum in the NBA is over $2 million. It's not that way in the NFL.
NFL minimum salary is $465,000.
You just brought in a whole nother aspect of veteran minimum, which had nothing to do with the initial.
But I'm saying that you're talking about these big contracts for these guys. If the NFL salary cap's $167 million, and you're paying Tom Brady 35 of that, that means that you literally are going to still have to cut checks to Gronkowski. You're still going to have to give money to
part of your negotiation is raising the cap. Come on now, this is all the money that's made in NFL. You can't tell me they can't afford it. That's nonsense.
But here's the thing: if they have 1,600 players and they pay, say, 200 of those guys, let's say an average of $20 million each, right?
There's not 200 guys that are going to garner $20 million in the NFL.
You really don't think that?
Absolutely not.
Because there's 32 quarterbacks to start. Then there's 32 starting running backs.
We're talking about
64.
Tom Brady level that there's not that many quarterbacks. It's hogwash.
Okay, well, fair enough.
They got the money.
We'll leave it there, people. You know where we stand on this. But thank you so much for tuning in tonight, obviously, however that may be. We are streaming live on Facebook and YouTube. We are on Roku and TuneIn on the app. You can also check us out on MBBA Radio and 102.1 FM out of Boston, Atlanta, and now Miami. And we will be back with you. We, again, appreciate however you're listening, wherever you're listening. This is CWMP on a Saturday night from Mission Viejo.
I guess he did promise us suffering, here at least. I mean, it makes sense. Why would one of God's children be having a ball on Satan's playground? The more I get like him, the more I hate it here. Father, how long before we lead this? Place full of sin and misery, got me feeling weak and defeated. Wondering how long will it be before we get to see Jesus? Living here got me feeling weird, I ain't fitting in, I'm geeking. In a world that I ain't of. I'm an alien from a place where they love praising them, in a place called USA where they say they with them and they ain't. May as well be a dang nation, a straight atheist. I'm amazed at the way they could just play with them, knowing they dare say anything. But you say anything about a gay, they want an apology right away. How does that sound for I back down and be quiet? I'ma die today. Christ reigns, man, nothing changed. I don't hide, I don't tuck away. Meek, but I'm no buster, man. Sucker must have went the other way. I'm feeling like the last of a rare breed that still cares in the world of the carefree. And running this race ain't easy on bare feet, but I'm covered in the blood like medium rare meat. So the good fight, I'ma fight that. Hit the ground, bounce right back with a band-aid and an ice pack, waving that blade in a nice rap. Bit to the rhythm of a hi-hat, kicked and delivered on a 5-track. Rip to my die minute, I'ma try to kill it like I'm in it for the combat. The end is just a new beginning for the Christian. So when it's finished, we just started living. Let's get it. I'ma keep it 100 with you. I don't really know what she's saying on this hook like that, so I'm just gonna talk over this joint. And then like, in about another bar, you gonna come in like, right?
I feel like Daniel in the lion's den. Patiently waiting, face been mistaken. I'm alienated, all in the sight of men. But I got this heightened sense to rely on him. How can I pretend? I simply chose a side, either David or Goliath's men. What would make a man choose a slingshot over a sword today? I'd say the one who swings it is the more important thing. But the more I pray for the Lord to shape me for that important day, when the organs play in the morgue, I lay in my corpse decay with the Lord to say, well done, my faithful son. This rest will better suit you. Will he say depart from me because I never knew you? Well, the answer's crucial, cause whenever the cancer chews you alive and the doctor describes the terminal chance to lose you in the 5th stage, and it cuts deeper than switchblades to a rib cage. I've been saying I got a disdain for this here game, but the kid's aim is to spit flames, put his name on display and make a swift change in a shift main for the big gang.
Man, this is that Christ all in my speech, dude. Can't leave him as they strike off for that evil. Gotta give him what is right, tell him it's lethal. So sinister, delight, and simple deceitful. So I preach to these people, scream out from that rooftop with a microphone and that boombox. No stages, no pages, no wage in that truth rocks. One way, but some fools knock, but they don't know where that true rock. They get sitting on green pastures, they don't rest with that true flock. Now I'm here in that burn, rather pioneer in that curve. I am near where they at, ain't no fair in that. See them staring at Superman, reacts near and bearing that curse. See them staring, glaring at her. Their parents bearing that burn, they lose their parents, where is that turn? Will it hear where a man learn? The sin that they are chasing means life forever wasted. I did that on several cases, yeah. Man is so depraved, see the way they act, no one else is saved, so I'm saying that
Jesus is the one, tell them all please. Never hide the sun, brother, let them all see. Cause he gon' be the one that can set us all free. Freedom through the sun, that's what everybody need. Please tell them all. Please tell them all. Yeah, please tell them all. Please tell them.
That the sun about to get it, this the gospel that I'm spreading. I'm spreading the message I know the world needs. It's evil, no blessing, I see the world fiends. No time for discretion, our love was called clean. That sin is progressive and that's a sure thing. I tell them flee, they saying I'm shook. So that seed, I pray he sees it in the seed. I'm praying they look. And the one that was lifted, death, the sentence, granted forgiveness. Reading that book, I was witness filled with the spirit. Can't you see that Christ took God's wrath? All this message that we pass on, it's God's hearts towards those lust and spark wrong. And oh God, they trust what God wants themselves. It's prevail when you see they talk, they walk wrong. And I'm praying they get broken place. They hoping God whose arms long and it's open wide. I'm praying for open eyes. They see their maker, love their savior, know what's great, or grant them open minds. Cause man is so depraved, see the way they act. No one else to save, so I'm saying that
Jesus is the one, tell them all please. Never hide the sun, brother, let them all see. Cause he gon' be the one that can set us all free. Freedom through the sun, that's what everybody need. Please tell them all. Please tell them all. Yeah, please tell them all. Please tell them.
That the sun about to get it, this the gospel that I'm spreading.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is CWMP on a Saturday night live from the FYI Ministry Studios in Mission Viejo, California. I'm your host, Big Mike, as always, bringing you sports with a Christian perspective as we do every Saturday. And if you are joining us for the first time, welcome. If you are returning listening to CWMP, welcome as well. However you may be listening to us, there's plenty of options for you. If you're wondering, you can stream us live on Facebook or YouTube. Listen to us on Power 102.1 FM out of Boston, Atlanta, and Miami. In BBA Radio as well. That'd be Not by Bread Alone. And then obviously you can stream us on the TuneIn or Roku apps. Also, we'd love for you to check out CWPNation.com, where we have some wonderful merchandise for sale, and you can also donate to the show to keep the ministry going, as well as check out bios about myself, Hebrew, and Pluto, and see what we're all about. Although mine's rather boring and to the point, so you might want to read that one. Anyway, so I wanted to talk a little bit about the most important segment of our show. And, yes, thank you. I got the chip munching, guys. That was awesome. I really do appreciate it. There it is. And that's really me right now. So I wanted to bring up our Deep Dish segment where we get a little bit more into the Word of God, and we always do that in between the sampler platter and the following segment. And tonight's verse comes out of Isaiah 43:5, and it is, "Fear not, for I am with thee, and I will bring thy seed from the east and gather thee from the west." And really, I mean, this verse is fairly significant to me just because at the point that I'm at in my life right now, you know, I'm trusting the Lord with what his plans are, you know, and a lot of times that's hard. That's a very difficult thing to do, you know, whether the struggle be just a personal spiritual thing or financially or you're having issues, you know, in any type of way. It's a very difficult thing to go through sometimes, but having that reassurance from the Lord, especially here in Isaiah, is definitely an important thing, you know, for me personally to have, you know, as I look at my relationship with Christ, knowing that he's going to be there no matter what, and then telling me to fear not, you know, don't worry about it, I've got you. And things are coming together in mine and my wife, who is now our social media manager, sitting across from me. Things are starting to come together in our life and with this radio show and otherwise that are really speaking to this verse, and that's why it means so much to me tonight. Hebrew, what were your thoughts on Isaiah?
Hey, man, this is really an awesome scripture. First thing came to mind is what I, spoke to you when I saw it. My mom, actually picked my middle name based off of this section of the Bible, Isaiah, about 40 through like 47. There's the man that they're talking about, the seed that was bring, is actually King Cyrus out of Persia. And he was basically sent to, get the Hebrews free from the bondage that they were in Persia and able to worship their God again in Yah and all these type of things. So I really, that hit me first off top because it just reminds me of, this is what God has for you, son. And more to what Mike is speaking about, it's the promise that is in there that we have in the scripture, that we have in the faith. It's like, don't worry about your circumstances, like Big Mike was, alluding to, your work situation, your finances, your home situation, whatever is going. You don't have to fear these things that the world is trying to oppress us with and, put on us as a daily type of just stress and worry and weight that we carry around. The Lord will do what he said he will do. This is another scripture, out of the Bible. So we don't have to really worry about what's going on here or there, left or right, where we're going to go. The Lord will do what he said. He will bring, somebody to help with what you're doing. That's what that scripture was talking about. The children of Israel needed help in the situation they were in, not even able to worship their own God, and open, and not able to go home to Israel, rebuild Jerusalem, things of this nature. So even what the Lord put inside of you, with your spirituality, with your faith, things he might have for you to build, it is so clear that if the Lord put that in you, you have nothing to fear. He will bring it to pass. He will water it. He will nurture it. You will see it grow in time. And like I say all the time when I get to talking about faith on this show, what you guys see now is a product of faith. Everything that happens, everything that goes on when things are uncertain, CWP Nation is blessed. It's anointed by the Lord himself. And I believe he's established it, and you will see us grow. And he sent many men to help us. You know, started with just me and Mike. Now Pluto's with us. Now we have Whitney. So it's going to be more people coming along. This is a promise we have. If the Lord gave you this, put it in your heart. You run with it, and just know there's nothing to fear, nothing that's going to stop that from coming to pass.
Amen, and well said. And I really do feel that, you know, having the promise of no fear is a big one, especially if, you know, you're going through things in your life that are just really tough to deal with right now, or you're listening to this show for the first time in your situation, whether it, you know, just be regularly or, you know, wherever you might be dealing with it in your life, whether you're young, whether you're old, whether you're in the middle, whatever it may be, the Lord's always going to be there, and there's no reason to fear ever that anything is going to happen. So that's always a reassuring fact. And moving into our next segment, before we do that, though, Pluto, do you have anything to add, sir? No, I am getting a no on the head shake, so we're good to go. So I want to get into the next part, and Pluto will be included in this. Gentlemen, it is that time. It is time, and everybody's been waiting. I know we have so many listeners who have been waiting for this moment. It is time for the CW&P NFL postseason predictions, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, it is that time, and it is that time to
that was awesome, Pluto.
There we go. To get to that point where we literally go through and pick, and I know what you're saying, well, training camp hasn't even started. Well, it's not fair to pick if you do it during training camp because then you know who's hurt and whatnot. We want to go ahead, and hopefully nobody gets hurt, but we want to go ahead and do it beforehand so that you guys can definitely get a better idea for where we're at coming to the NFL season. And I would be remiss if I did not ask Pluto to lead this one off. Pluto, who are your 6 playoff teams in the AFC this year, sir?
The 6 playoff teams. So my 4 legits are going to be the Patriots, obviously. I think the Steelers are going to pull the North off. The Texans are going to do the South. And on the AFC West, obviously, my Raiders are going to take it, all of it. I think for your 2 wild cards here, though, here's my dark horse, the Ravens. Mm-hmm. For some reason, I think I'm feeling them. And I hate to say it, but Kansas City. I think.
Ravens and the Chiefs.
I think Ravens and the Chiefs might be your 2. So are you just looking for my AFC picks right now?
Just right now, yes.
So there you go. There's my AFC.
And then Hebrew, I am so interested to hear who your AFC picks are going to be.
You're crazy, Big Mike. But
I am.
It's pretty simple when you're in the East. We're talking Patriots. That's like a no-brainer. Pittsburgh Steelers, to me, going to go ahead and take the North, just like Pluto was saying. I hate to say it, but the South is such a poor division right now. I guess the Texans are going to take that one. And when it comes to the West, I mean, there's nobody you can really take, to me, in the opinion, with the offseason they've already been having, than the Oakland Raiders.
Okay.
So after that, I mean, for our dark horse picks, who's going to be the wild card? This is another tough one for me because the division is a little bit weak right now, so we don't really know what's going to happen in the whole conference, I should say, instead of division. But I'm going to go with Miami as my wild card.
Amazing.
And then we're going to go ahead. Why are you saying amazing?
Because as much as you give me so much crap for being a Dolphins fan, the fact you picked them is such
this is an objective opinion. So
having an objective opinion puts a smile across my face.
And for my second wild card, I'm going to go ahead and go with this is a horrible conference. I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills. Shout out my neighbor Solomon Bilgray. That was for you, bro.
He is going. So the Buffalo Bills are going to end their 17-year drought. Very nicely done.
I'm sure Saul's going to be happy when I tell him at home I picked his team. That's for my neighbor. What up, Saul?
He definitely is. So I'm like the rest of the universe. Even though I'm a diehard Fins fan, I have to pick the Patriots in the East because they literally just look like they're not going to lose a game.
Not too much of a diehard fan. You ain't Bruce Willis.
Oh man, wow, real what? What? Wait, anyway, I'm going to avoid that.
You know me, if it was the Clippers, I would have still said the Clippers.
I'm going with the Patriots and the Steelers for sure. The Patriots and the Steelers, I think
that's a no-brainer.
Those two, you almost think are going to end up in the AFC title game again. I mean, but hold up, you're sitting over there yelling
Mike,
easy at me.
Boy, Josh wants to know what's wrong with me.
We don't even know.
We don't know
what's wrong with
Josh, there's neurosurgeons that don't know what's wrong with him.
I want to know what's wrong with you because the Chiefs are not going to the Super Bowl, buddy.
So I want to go ahead. Can I finish my picks? I'm going Patriots, Steelers, and I'm actually going with the Tennessee Titans to win the South.
Oh, my goodness.
And I'm always getting so much for this, but I think Mariota
Pluto,
and their running game.
Did somebody like that Denzel watch the movie a little bit too much? Remember the Titans? Remember when they made the playoffs?
It is a great movie. But I think but honestly, to defend that a little bit, I like Mariota. I think their running game and their offensive line, it has all pros all the way across it. They're going to be able to run the football. Their defense is improved. I think
that's worse than me picking Buffalo as a wild card.
It's a word. I'll tell you this much. It is literally the worst. It's literally the worst division in football.
Yeah, it's
so
horrible.
You can definitely pick anyone except for the Jaguars. Anybody picking the Jaguars just needs to stop. But in the AFC West, I got
Did Andy pick the Jaguars? Is that what happened?
No.
Oh, okay. I flipped out.
But
Sorry.
in the AFC West, I got the Raiders.
Before you move on, people out there, CWP Nation, we definitely want to hear your picks as well. So go ahead and throw them on the comments for us. Let us know what you think.
Please do. Yeah, but I'm going with the Raiders in the AFC West. I don't even know how you can pick another team in that division. My wild cards are Miami and Kansas City. I think they're easily, Kansas City's not going to win it, and neither is Miami in their actual division. But I think those are your two best out of the other four. So as a matter of fact, if the AFC South didn't have to have a winner, I would give a third wild card spot. But they have to. So there's nothing I can do about that one. Okay, gentlemen. Now that
buddy Josh seems to think you have the flu for making that crazy pick with the Texans. I don't know. I think I might need to move my chair, Josh.
Josh, actually, your haircut gives me the flu. So,
no, you didn't.
So, anyway, I mean, Kid and Play want their hair back. But, so we're going to move to the NFC. So, Pluto will let you lead off. Again, who do you think in the NFC is going to the playoffs?
Okay, let's start in the East. So, NFC, I think it's the Cowboys if they can make it past the Giants. I think that's the only competition they'll get. On the North, it's got to be the Packers. I don't see the Bears doing anything. I don't see the Lions doing anything. The Vikings aren't going to have Bridgewater back, right? Is he?
Bridgewater reportedly, if he's even going to play this year, it won't be until much later in the season.
That's over there.
It looks like the second worst division.
Right. You're right. You're right there.
NFC North.
Well, here comes the South. The Buccaneers, the Saints, the Panthers, or the Falcons. I mean, it's got to be between the Panthers and the Falcons.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking that maybe the Panthers. And on the West, the Cardinals or Seahawks. I'm saying Cardinals. Your two wild cards are going to be the Seahawks and the Saints.
Okay. Hebrew, where are you going?
Interesting. Dallas for the East. Definitely the Packers in the North. For the South, I definitely have to switch that up. I'm going with Atlanta. They should be able to get back to the top of that one. In the West, I know what I want to say, but I got to go with the Seattle Seahawks. I mean, that's just the obvious pick. I can't really have my guys out here thinking I really lost my brain. But anyways, as far as your wild cards go, I'm looking for the Rams to be a wild card. And after that, we're going to go ahead and we're going to go ahead and go with the never mind. I want to change my pick in the East. I forgot I wanted to go with the Giants over the Cowboys. So the Cowboys will be my wild card and the Rams.
Did you pick the Rams as a wild card?
Yes, sir.
That's worse than you not knowing there's an AL and an NL MVP.
West Coast. I'm so happy the Rams are back. I'm thinking we're going. Last season was horrible, but I'm looking for the Rams to be the most improved team in football this year.
Good, and when Jared Goff is their quarterback, it won't happen.
Just go ahead and make sure
we'll see what happens.
But anyway, so in the NFC,
just remember he said that, folks, because when my Rams win 12 games this year, they're in the playoffs.
mouth before I shut it for you.
Everything has come to a stop, guys. That was the funniest words ever mentioned on radio. Big Mike is on the floor.
Did you really just say the Rams are going to win 12 games?
12 games, bro. Everybody's going to know. Everybody's going to know when this happens. They're going to be like, how did Hebrew call that? That's what they're going to say.
Game over.
Game over.
Hey, you know what? We're not about gambling on this show, but if they win less than 12,
we might start right now.
But if they win less than 12 games, will you shave your head?
Absolutely not.
Okay, I wanted to see how confident you were.
Absolutely not.
Okay,
I'm not cutting my hair for any sports team.
Call him Samson. But
That's
anyway,
right.
But
I guess that makes you Delilah.
yeah. Absolutely never. How dare you insult me in such a way? Anyway,
You just asked me to cut my hair for the Los Angeles Rams.
You're the one picking them to win 12 games.
They can't have my loss.
By the way, I want to ask a question. If the Rams are winning 12 games and they're a wild card team, how many games are the Seahawks winning?
Are you getting a black screen too, or is it just?
No, we're good.
I think it's tripping.
No, I really would like to know the answer to this.
What's up,
picked
bro?
the Seahawks to win that division. So if the Rams are winning 12 games, how many of the Seahawks
Are you trying to ask him for logic? Don't ask him
No,
to
no, no.
try to
I want
think this out.
I want a prediction.
The silliest of scenarios.
I want to know how many games are the Seahawks winning if the Rams are a wild card at 12
this
and
is
4.
ridiculous.
How many are you giving them?
I take the 5th.
Wow. Okay. Well, there's the football knowledge of Hebrew.
Nah,
and
for
what
real.
I do.
Well, the real, I'll give Seattle about 10 games this year.
That's cool because if the Rams are winning 12, that doesn't even make sense.
What happened?
Well, that means that the Rams would win the division and the Seahawks would be the wild card.
Oh yeah, that was pretty dumb. See, that's why I should have never said that.
You should have stuck with the 5th.
I just thought about.
Why do I feel like I'm in Congress? Stupid stuff is getting said all over the place, and nobody knows the right answer.
All right, let's move on, Mike.
Anyway, so I'm going to go ahead, and I'm going.
Hebrew, what is wrong with you?
I'm going to go ahead, and obviously, I've already told you guys 100 times.
All right, so that means the Rams are going to take the division.
Anyway,
Seahawks are going to be my wild.
Can we cut his mic off for the next 5 minutes, please? Is there a penalty box? Like, can we send him somewhere? Okay, so anyway, with my NFL picks, I've already told you guys 100 times the Giants are winning the East. There's no question in my mind. The Packers are winning the NFC North, and if they don't, I would just be floored. Like, there's no way. The Seahawks win the South, and the Seahawks win the West. And in the NFC South, it's going to actually be the Carolina Panthers. I like the Panthers better this year than the Falcons, and I actually think Christian McCaffrey is going to give that offense a huge boost. And getting Luke Kuechly back will make a big difference for him as well. My 2 wild cards are going to be Dallas, quite obviously, because they're – yes, I picked the Giants to win the division. So how in the world can I have them? And my other wild card and the pick that everybody's criticizing me for, I like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to actually sneak into the playoffs this year out of the NFC South. So we'll see what happens. But I like the Bucs. I like what Jameis Winston is doing. So there's no question.
Oh, man. Josh said we just woke up his daughter. Well, I woke up his daughter with my outrageous prediction.
And his daughter's like hilarious. 1.5, so that's an accomplishment.
I even made Monique jump on here and say it's not happening. But I shout out Alicia because she told me to have faith, so I'm with that.
No, that's cool. Hey, there's a difference between faith in Jesus and blind faith, and the faith in the Rams.
We weren't talking about Jesus on that one.
Anyway.
But the Monique is picking the Saints. I don't know actually what she's picking them for, but for something.
Well, to win the NFC South, that would be a pretty
wild
legit
card.
Either way, they're probably a playoff team. So. Okay, guys, and not that I want to go there after the conversation we just had, because apparently if you win 12 games but the other team wins 10.
Stop.
But
Would you stop? It was a mental brain lapse.
Next episode.
You put me on the spot.
On the next episode of CWMP, what does NBA really stand for?
I got that one. Pluto, what does it mean when I rap? Nothing but anointed.
That's right.
Oh, very
I got that.
Okay, well, fair enough.
Nice
try. No, we're gonna have a.
It really stands for National Basketball.
No, it stands for nothing.
We're gonna have a mini math session after the show.
I did just quit my job at Wells Fargo.
Oh no.
Well, obviously they feel like there was a good choice made.
Oh my God.
So anyway,
I can't believe I just did that. That is so embarrassing.
So Pluto, Who's your Super Bowl pick? You picked your playoff teams. Now who are you picking for the Super Bowl?
Oh, boy.
And who wins?
Oh, no, we can't do both.
You absolutely have to do both. You got to put it on the record.
Save who wins for next week.
You got to put it on the record,
give the fans
man.
some suspense.
No, you got to make it the same night.
Okay, so obviously I'm going to be a homer, but I think this is legit to say that I'm going to call the Raiders are going to be in the Super Bowl. I believe they will get in.
Okay.
On the on our NFC side, I actually think it's going to be. I think it's going to be the Packers.
Go ahead, Pluto. Say the Rams. You know,
so you're the Rams.
You know what?
The Rams with 32 wins.
You know what? In as much.
Oh wow! Now you're going over their.
I'm sorry, we can't include their win total for the last 10 years. But that
32 wins gets you into wild card spot.
Apparently so, or it wins a division over a 12-win team. So anyway, but I actually like that pick, Pluto.
I retire.
Pluto, it's actually out on a limb, and I like it. I actually really do. I can appreciate the fact that both of those teams have a legit shot. Not that I'm wanting to ask this because I'm actually afraid what the answer might be. Who's your Super Bowl pick and who wins, Hebrew?
Oh, my gosh. I definitely got to stick with Pluto because I'm loving beast mode on the, the Raiders, every other acquisition. So even though they're going up against New England, in that AFC, it's probably stupid to go against Tom Brady right now. I'm still going to go ahead and go with the Raiders coming out the AFC. And for the NFC, I'm looking for Seattle to get back up in the Super Bowl.
Wow. Okay, so the Raiders. Okay, so actually, I got to be honest.
What kind of Super Bowl would that be for Marshawn Lynch to go against his old squad?
Hey, you know what I know? What's the difference?
I like that. Hold on, let me get my camera.
Hey, what's the difference between Russell Wilson and Derek Carr? Derek Carr knows to hand it to him at the 1 yard line. That's
for some reason Russell Wilson just has a better ring to it.
But I'm telling you right now, you missed the joke. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and I've said this.
Shout out Jacob. What's that last name?
Jacob Patrick, my brother-in-law.
What's up,
hey,
fam?
buddy.
Is that one of the brother-in-laws I met?
You might have met Jake. Yeah.
At the party.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, but
whatever. We still love you, Jake.
We are getting Alicia is just. Alicia's loving this show. Shout out to Alicia Wexler. Here's my Super Bowl pick, and I will go with it saying this. I actually think we finally get the matchup in the Super Bowl we deserve from a quarterback perspective this year. It's going to be the New England Patriots and the Green Bay Packers, and we finally get to see Rodgers play Brady because I think the Packers
That's a long shot for the Packers.
I think the Packers are finally getting over the hump. Hey, the Packers may have a long shot, but the Packers always seem to be in it when they're missing huge pieces. Now they're healthy. So now you're going to have, they look good in every facet so far this year, and Aaron Rodgers certainly is the second-best quarterback in the league. So I don't think there's any doubting that. And in some people's opinion,
second-best quarterback got to be Jared Goff, bro.
Anyway, thank you so much again for listening to CWMP on a Saturday night from Mission Viejo. We really do appreciate it. However you might be listening, we are live streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and then we're on the Roku and TuneIn apps. And we have some mixing going on in the background, quite obviously.
Project Pluto on the beat.
And then we also appreciate our affiliates, Not by Bread Alone Radio, and, of course, Power 102.1 FM on in Miami, Boston, and Atlanta. And however you may be listening, wherever for the first time or the 10th time. We do appreciate you guys, so thank you so much. We will be back with our final segment of the night. This is CWMP on a Saturday night in Mission Viejo.
I think there's I'm going to call this cab driver. 555-6205. Hey, yeah, I'm on the corner of, you know where this is? Oh, all right, that's cool. I'll see you in a few then.
Life as I knew it was something like a taxi ride. I never told them where to go, just let the taxi drive. I never told them where I planned my destination, but I stayed patient and I stayed waiting, sitting in a seat, feeling a bit helpless, just waiting on a period, just driving through a sentence, looking at street signs as we drive past. I see money, success, and Afterlife Ave. It was a peaceful area, things were pretty clean, filled with currency and materialistic things, and it was like I was visualizing the dream, cause when I left town, I was being welcomed by screams. Then I exclaimed to the driver, I think I found my street and it's called Survivor.
thinking back to what my mother told me. She was holding up a map, and this is what she showed me. You go up on your blessings, bear right on obedience. And if you get lost, then go back to the previous. So I told the driver, let me out on Christianity. Then he slammed on the gas and drove me through insanity.
Yo, that's the wrong spot. Wait, no, it was back there. Come on, yo, just let me out, man.
And then he finally stopped and left me out on Sewage Isle. I had to walk up a hill called Suicide.
Josh, I know we're in the middle of a musical break right now, but I am really disappointed in that comment. I know it's past your bedtime wherever you're at. We big boys don't go to sleep early on the West Coast.
And I creeped on greed, place where everybody steals. No one has a weak trait, taking everything from their family and friends. Just to them it's nothing, the cycle never ends. I quickly rushed out and then I stayed up on the corners. No, I wasn't selling, I was trying to know my borders. And as I stood, felt raindrops of lies covered my whole body. I needed a place to dry, so I ran in a store named Fornication, and I had to use my V card for identification. No charge, but it changed my mindset. This place had a smell and I noticed everybody had the scent. The rain ceased and the sky remained sunless. I was trying to find my way but didn't bring my compass. My mind took a beating, forgot where I was going. I looked up and I seen a light that was glowing. I didn't see a face but I heard the word follow. So I had nothing to lose and I lived by that motto. I couldn't let it pass, my game wasn't like Rondo. I moved out to the next street. I didn't see a face but I heard the longest yard. I know I tried hard and I've been out here for days and I was mentally scarred. So I fell to my knees, asking God, please, I'm tired, Lord. Now can you please carry me? Then that glow that I've been shadowing turned into a man. I said, who are you? He replied, I am. As I got closer, he revealed to me that he was the cab driver that yielded me. Then said,
my son, this was only a test to see how far you would go, then let me do the rest. All the streets that you passed are of the past, so all this extra suffering was never gonna last. If I gave you what you wanted, you would truly never want it. I wanted you to find me and be wholehearted.
Then I realized that this person sounded familiar. Something like my mother told me, something so similar. This man is forgiving, this man is loving, this man is patient, waiting for me to love him. He told me that his name was Jesus. Man, I went into shock and my voice became speechless. And he continued and said if I believed in him and that he died for my sins, then I shouldn't grieve again.
Welcome back, family. You are live on another Saturday night with CWP Nation, Chicken Wings and Pizza. Sports from a Christian perspective, truly a unique niche that we've carved out here for ourselves in the radio market. Shout out FYI Ministries, Roku, TuneIn, Google that. You can find us there. Not by Bread Alone Radio, Power 102.1 FM. Thank you for carrying us every week. Like we said, man, we got to shout out all of our sponsors, PlanetOnPluto.com, WhippedUpByWhitney.com. I mean, that's on Facebook. Sorry about that one. And then we also have Cloud Crew 417. It's everywhere. Yeah, definitely. I'm with you on that one, Pluto. And, you know, Big Mike is always going to sponsor us just with his beautiful mug over here. Speaking of mugs, we do have a coffee mug that you can pick up on CWPNation.com. It's an awesome coffee cup. I got mine on the way, so let's get that going for everybody out there. It's only $10. You want a big one, it's $15. Thank you for tuning in with us, family. Where we at in the show, Big Mike?
Well, we're coming to the end of this thing, and I'm always happy. The show is always great. Our fans are always great. Shout out to Javion. Hey, buddy, I know it's past your bedtime, so Uncle Mike appreciates you being up and listening to the show.
Tell your dad to go to sleep too, Javion.
Oh, goodness. You know what? You need to. You actually thought that a 10-win team beat a 12-win team. You're the one that needs a nap. But anyway, so what I wanted to bring up, obviously the NBA has been the dominant part of the I apologize for the face I just made for those of you watching on Facebook. Somebody actually had the nerve to put online, who's better, Muhammad Ali or Floyd Mayweather? That person is not a boxing fan, obviously, because there's no...
They're not even a fan of intelligence.
If you're putting them in the same sentence, that's just not even... I can't justify that in any way.
Shame on you.
And ask Iron Mike Tyson. He'll agree that there's no way in the world that those two belong in the same sentence at all, or anybody with with common sense. But one thing that I wanted to bring up, because the NBA has been a huge part of this offseason, and it has been a massive, massive story all, for the past month and a half, ever since the NBA Finals ended. Now we're getting to the point where everybody's kind of evaluating the next season. So, Hebrew, the Western Conference of the two conferences is obviously more intriguing because you have the Cavs, the Celtics, and the Wizards, and everybody else is a JV team in the East. So
Toronto might be able to make it into the varsity level.
Maybe. But
maybe.
So I wanted to bring back Biombo, and they might. But here's what
a tough loss.
Here's what I want to go ahead and get to. Who are your top 8 teams as it sits right now in the Western Conference?
All right, I hope y'all ready out there, people, because we are going for it right now. Obviously, the Dubs are going to go ahead and round out that number 1 position. Anybody don't know who the Dubs are, sorry for you. But that is your Golden State Warriors. The Rockets are going to be coming in the second place with that acquisition of Chris Paul, a couple other pieces. You're going for it. OKC made some, great moves also in the offseason, so I'm putting them at number 3. Number 4, we got the Los Angeles Clippers. Yes, they will hold on to their spot. Coming in after that is going to be the Spurs at number 5. And the only reason why the Spurs, to me, are even this high up is because of Popovich. Their roster is really thin right now. Here we go, family. Number 6, the Kings are coming way up from their standings last year with all the moves they made. Sacramento Kings are going to be your 6. The T-Wolves also made a lot of great moves. I'm picking them at number 7. And for my last team, we're going to have the Pelicans round out number 8. As you can see, in my opinion, the West got stronger, but not only did the West get stronger, some of the teams got much weaker. So your teams like the Trailblazers, I'm not seeing them in the playoffs right now. A couple other teams fall right out. And I'm actually even looking at the Lakers to possibly be, number 9, 10 seed fighting by the end of the season. Where you at with it, Big Mike?
Well, for me, the Dubs are always going to be the best because they're easily.
Don't even need a coach. Who is Steve Kerr?
They're the best team in the NBA. Period. So I also want to get to this. I like Houston too, like you do. I think Chris Paul, I don't think anybody realizes exactly how big a deal it is that Chris Paul and James Harden are on the same team. That right there, and now Harden can play his natural position of shooting guard. That's going to be unreal.
And when Chris Paul needs a break, he can slide right back over to the point guard, back and forth. It's an awesome – you got a nice two-puncher.
But again,
in the backcourt.
We've talked about this, and we've had this discussion. Trevor Ariza is a huge piece of that team, as is Ryan Anderson, as is Eric Gordon. Chris Paul needs shooters to be effective, and oh my gosh, does he have shooters in Houston.
Gordon's light. He lit it up last season, so Gordon definitely –
Well, he was the 6th man of the year.
Lit it up last year.
So, I mean, Gordon's the 6th man of the year. I don't really think you can really argue with the fact that Eric Gordon, makes Chris Paul that much more deadly, especially from that drive and kick perspective.
Yes, sir.
Number 3, I still got San Antonio, and I know you don't agree with that. You got them 2 spots lower. My biggest thing is this. I trust Greg Popovich until he gives me a reason not to. So, Pop's got 5 titles. I mean, Pluto, would you agree with that? Do you really need to go?
I trust Pop. I don't trust that roster.
Do you need to go away from a Hall of Fame coach if
you
still got Kawhi Leonard?
And obviously the guy knows what he's doing. We've seen in the NBA how important the coach is. I think you got to trust the dude until he cannot produce anymore. But granted, Belichick has Brady this whole time. But Belichick's made a whole career out of pulling dudes you didn't think were going to...
Well, and that's the other thing. Same thing with Popovich.
Yeah, he's piecing together dudes.
I mean, nobody had faith in Tony Parker or Manu Ginobili. Look at the careers he gave back to guys like Steven Jackson, who had gone through the malice at the Palace. Steve Kerr's another one. Yeah, Steve Kerr won 5 rings, and Robert Horry was a huge piece.
Yeah.
Gave him another, so... There are guys. I mean, he made Bruce Bowen an all-star, people. Like, he wasn't really an all-star, but my point is he was always all-NBA.
That was a fabrication.
It was, very much so, and it was meant to be. It was making a point that, my thing is this. Pop is a great coach. I'm not going to go against him until he has a bad season, and he has yet to do that. So, Anyway, going to number 4.
I hope you're ready for this 2017-2018 season.
Going to number 4, it's the OKC Thunder. Russell Westbrook was already the MVP, and by himself with short-tipping Andre Robertson actually got them to the 6th seed in the West.
Yeah, they're
so
now
you add Paul George to that. I'm thinking that they're probably going to be the 4th seed. My number 5 seed, look, I'm watching the replay, and Hebrew's just laughing all over the place. It's a joy to watch you laugh for some reason. Anyway, it's also a joy to know that you have math down pat.
Oh, my gosh.
But then, obviously,
are we going to move on from the same tire jokes?
Oh, no, you're right. It's as tired as there being an AL and an NL MVP. It's only been going on for 100 years. But anyway, number 5 is the Minnesota Timberwolves. I've got the number 6 team, the Portland Trailblazers. I believe that much in Dame Lillard and C.J. McCollum. I think the Blazers, Terry Stotts is a good coach. I think they make strides. I like the Memphis Grizzlies. David Fitzdale, take that for data. I still think you're a playoff team. I still think with Conley and Gasol, Chandler Parsons is going to come back. I know there's not a lot of people.
How in the world do you got the Trailblazers in the playoffs and you don't got the Clippers in the playoffs?
Have I mentioned 8 teams or 7?
How in the world or should I say, how did you mention them before mentioning the Clippers?
Pluto, how many teams have I actually mentioned? I think it's 7, right?
I believe it's 7.
Can you give me your list one more time?
Yes, so we'll go down again. Golden State, Houston, San Antonio, Oklahoma City, Minnesota, Portland.
And you got Minnesota jumping over the Clippers. Wow.
Can I finish my list?
I can't believe this. This is a disrespectful 8.
You know what?
I told you I didn't want to hear the disrespectful 8 at the top of this show, Mike.
And that's totally fine. I'm not worried about your opinion. So basically,
Blake Griffin, what do you think about that?
But you're asking Flake Griffin what he thinks? Oh, that's good.
He doesn't like you right now, Mike.
That's totally fine.
He gave you a headbutt. He thought you were like 5'7".
Yeah. See, he punches athletic trainers in the face, and for that I have no tolerance. But my 8th team is the LA Clippers. They don't fall completely out of the playoffs, but they definitely. Pluto.
I hope y'all hear this out here, CWP Nation.
Pluto,
this disrespectfulness is going to get overturned when playoffs roll around.
Pluto, I want to ask you a question since you're kind of non-partial in this whole thing. And I don't really have a dog in this race either.
He's also uninformed when it comes to NBA.
But I want to ask.
I can do math.
But I want to ask you.
Are we sure we haven't put that to the test yet?
But I got to ask you something. Do you really think the Clippers with such a loss like Chris Paul and Jamal Crawford, are they seriously?
JJ Redick too.
Are they okay? So you gave me even more ammunition. So are they actually a playoff team?
No, not in the West.
Okay,
not in the West.
Not a playoff team at all.
I would listen to an inkling of argument that maybe.
Who's the starting 5 on the Clippers, Pluto?
I don't know, and I think that's probably you're
leaving out talent. We got DeAndre.
No. I think that's all you need to know is I can't name one person besides Chris Paul who left.
Blake Griffin.
That's why they're not going to be in the playoffs.
Teodosic is the best player.
Okay, Blake Griffin. I know Griffin.
Teodosic is the best point guard, best player in the EuroLeague for the last 5 years.
In the EuroLeague?
Definitely.
Dude, I'm a guard in the EuroLeague.
I don't know if you.
What are you talking about?
I don't think
the EuroLeague.
I don't think they're taking you, Pluto. Then we got
I'm the MVP tonight of the EuroLeague.
Is a baller. You picked up Decker. You picked up Patrick Beverly. The Clippers are definitely maintaining their spot at number 4. Y'all see what's going on with the bike?
So I hold on one second.
Everything broke. Mike over here.
Jumping. Oh no! You pulled your headphones out.
I apologize.
Right,
I shouldn't have pulled my head.
Make you want to jump?
Yeah, pretty much. That's where we're at. But I got to be honest with you. I understand what you're saying about Blake and DeAndre and everybody else. But bro, if you take Chris Paul off that team, what are they really? You're telling me that
number 4 in the West.
You're telling me that a EuroLeague point guard is going to replace what Chris Paul did, and they're going to be the exact.
I didn't say he's going to replace. Out of the point guards available, I mean, obviously you haven't seen Teodosic's body of work. A lot of people haven't. Just like they didn't know who Kristaps Porzingis was when he came into the league.
And did you call Kristaps Porzingis being an all-star?
I sure did.
You did?
It was before the show ever happened. But
okay.
I was sitting at home on my couch, and I was like, this kid got it. So anyways, Teodosic is an awesome player. You're going to see. I'm really impressed with what the Clippers did with losing and still winning at the same time, in my opinion. And this is just not a homer pick. Blake Griffin is coming back healthy this year.
Pluto's in pain.
To Pluto, take this point right here. This is my final point on it. Blake Griffin is coming off of injury and humiliation. If you think this
$173
guy,
worth.
I changed his name to Flake Griffin because I was so disappointed with his performance. So this is my mindset from Blake Griffin. They said he wanted the team. They said he was tired of sharing with Chris Paul. He has the team now. He's healthy, and he has something to prove. So Blake Griffin is going to tear this league up. Mark my words.
Okay, well, I'll say this much about your boy Teodosic, or whatever his name is.
Teodosic.
I actually think that
Do I have to get you some speech classes?
I actually will, just as much as you need math.
I'd rather be able to speak than add.
But here's
you don't know how to count. You don't even know how to count. You can hire an accountant. Mike.
Ask Rain Man if he knows how to count. My point is this: Randy Beverly is actually a bigger acquisition.
Who is Randy?
Beverly.
His name is Randy?
No, it's not Randy Beverly.
Wow.
Wow.
I hope you guys are not listening to him for credible news.
Right, like we listen to you for that.
The guy's name is Patrick Beverly.
Thank you. I don't know why I said Randy Beverly.
Randy. Where did you get Randy from?
I go through so much a day, I probably just pulled it out somewhere. I'm not sure.
I thought you had the photographic memory.
Anyway, Patrick Beverly's a bigger acquisition from a defensive perspective, and not to mention the fact
that's why I like it, because you got Pat Beverly and Teodosic, and your backcourt is going to be awesome.
But here's the thing. This is what I'm not understanding. Neither one of those guys are a shooting guard. Neither one of them are. So you're not going to be able to have both of them on the floor at the same time.
One of them is going to have to be a shooting guard because that's what we need.
That's fine, but again, okay, so let me
They did the same thing with James Harden last year.
You're obviously,
hold on, the Rockets did the same exact thing with James Harden and Pat starting last year, so it could be done.
But that's a completely different team. That's a completely different team.
It's not that different. Like I was telling you with Chris Paul, Clint Capella, DeAndre Jordan favor each other.
Okay.
You got James Harden, who can handle the ball if you need to. Teodosic is the same way. So what you're dealing with is actually what the Clippers did. I'm telling you, Jerry West is the one who made these recommendations. You think Jerry West didn't see every point guard and say, go get Teodosic?
No,
There's a reason why Jerry West. And you talk about betting against Popovich. Never bet against Jerry West. He's built championship teams since he's been in the front offices.
And I love Josh's quote, Blake will tear something but not the league.
Josh.
Oh, gosh.
I don't appreciate that, Josh. Please, we don't need any bad luck.
Hey, you know what's great is, did you know that actually Blake Griffin has spent more time on a hospital gurney than on a basketball court in the last 4 years? There's no question.
Fabrication.
No, not at all. As a matter of fact.
You just keep fabricating
No,
stats.
I'm not fabricating
We're going to change your name to Big Propaganda.
Did you give him the name Flake Griffin, yes or no?
I just gave you the name Big Propaganda.
That's fine. Did you call him Flake Griffin or not?
Of course. That's me. That's my.
Okay.
That's my,
so now you're taking a guy who should have a Head and Shoulders endorsement to the MVP and tearing up the league.
I think he will be an MVP candidate this year. I think I didn't even say that. I'm glad you did, but I am looking for Blake Griffin to definitely be an MVP candidate this year.
Is he a top 5 MVP candidate into this year? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Pluto, Clippers make the playoffs, yes or no, with everything you've heard us say?
Oh, come on!
No. I'm getting a no. So we'll have.
I'm like, do you realize they can't see you?
We'll have to wait and see. But the Clippers to me are not a playoff team. I just really
don't. You put them in the 8th spot.
I did put them in the 8th spot, but according to Pluto's recommendation, and now hearing you talk, I'm thinking they might not be.
Okay, so and this is my last point for real. Spurs roster versus the Clippers roster.
I'll take the Spurs
and
all
you
day.
Still put the Spurs at number 3. There's you still put the Spurs at number 3. So that's all I got to say. Roster wise, the Clippers definitely have a much better squad.
A good call from I believe it's Tyler Welling. They did pick up Lou Williams, but they will be lucky to be the 8th seed. Thank you, Tyler. We really do appreciate that input on the show, and we appreciate you listening to us. Also,
we appreciate your input, but if it's not Clippers bolstering, you can keep it, brother.
Absolutely. And by the way, if the Clippers do make the playoffs like I'm predicting right now, it'll be a 4-game.
Mike, if the Clippers are not going to make the playoffs, what's your 8th seed? Because I don't want to keep hearing that.
You want me to switch it?
You have to. You're not able to.
You want me to do it right now?
You're not even able to have the Clippers in your top 8 anymore.
Okay.
Because I can't wait until they make it to the 4, like I said.
Is it being polled? Am I not allowed to do that anymore?
Yeah, this is called a veto.
Okay, that's fine. You can veto it, and you can keep your 4th seed, which they'll never finish at, and I will take the Pelicans over the Clippers.
Thank you.
So,
now, at the end of the playoffs, when y'all see the Clippers in the playoffs at the 4th spot, you will
immediately wake up from the dream
we will
you're having.
Hi, hold on. Is this thing on?
We will be having Pluto and Big Mike throw Hebrew a pizza party.
Is this on? Hi, my name's Reality. The Rams are not winning 12 games, and the Clippers will not be the 4th seed in the West.
The Clippers
Thank
are
you
not
so
going to be
much.
in the playoffs.
What?
Clippers are not making the playoffs.
You just said they were the 4th seed?
No, they're not making it. That's
Really?
what you said.
I know. I was talking
I just hope everybody saw this. I hope everybody saw it.
That's fine. That's fine.
You're looking a little nervous over there.
I'm not nervous at all.
You're looking very nervous. I see the sweat pooling on your face.
That's because there's no air in here. That has nothing to do with that.
Nobody else. Who else is sweating in here besides Big Mike?
I'll tell you what.
Things that make you say.
Wait a minute. How many wins?
Clippers?
Yep. Since you're so confident, how many wins?
This year, we're still a 50-win team.
46 at best.
50.
46.
I can't wait.
I can't wait either because you are out of your mind.
Blake Griffin is going to be the next MVP of the league.
Can we get all this on record? I mean, with the math going on this show and the knowledge of baseball,
it's either going to be Blake Griffin or DeAndre Jordan.
You're telling me a guy who shoots 40% from the line is an MVP?
Game over, man.
Well, Shaq did it, so I guess it's not that far of a reach.
Thank you.
Since Shaq literally can't hit the broadside of a barn from the free throw.
That's not appropriate. That's not appropriate for this show, Pluto.
Oh, and Alicia. I mean, we don't want to crush Hebrew's dreams either. That's why we're just trying to let him know that reality does just kind of suck when you're a Clippers fan. But anyway,
I heard it's worse for Phoenix Suns fans.
Hey, dude, I'm not even talking about my team.
Never going to make the playoffs in the next decade.
They're in the cellar somewhere. I mean, it's just the Suns are terrible. See, I can at least admit my team's faults. But anyway, I want to get your guys' take.
Wow, Josh.
I want to get your guys' take.
Josh, you're now fired for being my favorite fan on the show.
Wow. Anyway, so I want to get your guys' take on one final thing for the night. I'm going to give you a position in the NFL, and according to the top 100, which we have highly reamed on this show for its lack of intelligent picks, for lack of a better word, or words, if you will. So I'm going to give you the position, and I'm going to tell you who it is, and you tell me whether you agree or disagree. And if you disagree, I want the player you think it is before that.
If you say it, disagree.
Well, that's obviously how it is in here. Quarterback Tom Brady, agree or disagree?
Jared Goff.
Agree.
Agree. You just need to stop.
Jared Goff.
Running back Ezekiel Elliott.
Oh, beast mode. Disagree.
Top running back right now?
Yes, right now.
No.
Beast
mode. Okay, so who's your pick?
Beast mode.
Always beast mode.
I'm going to go ahead.
How could you bet against beast mode?
I'm going to go ahead and go with Le'Veon Bell because he is a dual threat back, and he is always at the top of the NFL in rushing and receiving out of the backfield, period. Wide receiver Julio Jones.
Disagree.
And who's your...
Agree.
What's the boy... what's my dude on the Patriots? I can't remember his name.
You mean Julian Edelman?
Nope, not. Yeah, Edelman.
Okay, so you're going to go with Edelman as the best wide receiver.
Yeah, Edelman.
Who's your pick there?
I mess with Edelman.
Who's your pick, Pluto?
No, Julio Jones is a pretty good pick.
I'm going to go with Julio Jones as well.
Bro,
that dude's a fantasy league destroyer.
Yes, he is. He's a destroyer of dreams.
What about Odell Beckham?
No,
he's not better than Jones.
Not since they told him he can't wear those gloves.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. I still take Edelman. I like that kid.
How are we doing with the pick of pass rusher Von Miller?
Watt
would be in that category, so you could have him there.
I'd take
sure.
Watt before I
take Hebrew.
I like Von Miller. I agree with that.
What's the guy who blew off his fingers in New York?
That would be Jason Pierre-Paul. That blew off his fingers. JPP.
Oh.
Actually, there's not a better defensive player in the league than J.J. Watt when he's healthy. So I'll just take J.J. Watt based on principle. And then one more for you guys. cornerback, which is highly debated on this show. They have Patrick Peterson of the Cardinals as the top-rated cornerback in the league. Agree or disagree, fellas?
Tyler Wellen agreed with you on the Levon Bell. Just want to let you that. Thank you, Tyler.
Thank you,
for being
Tyler.
so active on the post. Come join us next week.
He was also saying Antonio Brown.
Yeah, Antonio
cornerbacks. Were you just talking about the dude from the Cardinals? Because that guy is...
Yeah, Patrick Peterson.
Yeah. I guess if you're just playing cover 2, you can say Sherman.
Wow.
Or striking.
If you're playing Madden.
Or you're striking.
Right.
One of the two.
Wow.
You know what? I got to go with that. I'll go with that.
So disrespectful. Sherman.
Dude.
Okay.
Disagree.
Okay, and Josh, I hope you're listening. The best corner, regardless of defense in the league, is Marcus Peters of the Kansas City Chiefs.
Wow, Tyler's with you on that.
14 picks in his first 2 years, and he's been an All-Pro twice first team. You're not going to do a whole lot better than that your first 2 years in the league,
got
people.
Justin Houston for his pick.
Oh, I like Justin Houston at pass rusher. But we have a very important part of the show to get to, and we are finishing up right now. Hebrew, lay it on him, buddy.
Oh, man, thank you once again, like I always say, for rocking with us, riding with us, tuning in, listening, watching, whatever you did tonight. The time you spent with us, we greatly appreciate it. Now, this is the part of the show for the people who are not Christians, like, the majority of us out here. If something about this show, maybe the deep dish, maybe the opening verse, maybe just our personalities still, being who we are, repping Jesus so hard, something tugged on your spirit and let you know, I need to be, a Christian. I want to do that. Pretty simple, people. All you got to do is believe that Jesus Christ is God. He's Lord in heaven. He was on his throne. He came down to this earth to suffer with us, to experience our life. He was beaten, bruised, and chastised, hung on a cross for your all your sins and iniquities. And if that is you today, all you need to do is believe in that. Believe he rose again in 3 days. Call somebody, go outside, say, look, I believe in Jesus Christ as Lord, God, and King. Boom, you're in the kingdom of God. It's so simple. It's so easy. You don't have to worry about all the, I'm not good enough. I do this still. I do that. The Holy Spirit, Jesus Christ himself, will come into you and fix you and clean you up. So you have nothing to worry about on that front. God bless all of your families every week. You guys tune in with us. God bless me and Big Mike's family who, allows us to come and do this show every week. Shout out Pluto and his whole family. Shout out Carrie. Everybody who lets us, come together for these 2 to 3 hours we spend together every Saturday to, get people the gospel, talk about something we love. We love you so much. For Big Mike, Pluto, and Whitney, we'll see you next week.
Good night, everybody. Thank you.